Yep. Yep. And then what happened? Comments will come in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you get rid of that. We don't want to learn more.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Probably.
Hey, you got to show somebody.
I know. I don't know, Randy. I got big shoes to fill. Amanda's not here, I don't think.
All right, everybody, welcome. This is our Partnership Explained show today. This is August 1st. We've been advertising this for a couple weeks now, and it's from 10 to 1. We'll try to keep you all on that, from 10 to 1. It may not take that entire time, but we allotted that time to explain to you guys all that's going on here. We've got some folks from Idaho that's flown in. Hi. Dave.
Mandy and Dave.
Pardon me?
Sandy and Dave.
Mandy and Dave.
Mandy.
Mandy.
Yes.
You know what? I got to get my microphone. I forgot to get my microphone.
Oh, yeah.
Terrible. You know what? I was such in a hurry. We've had a water main break this morning. We've had a storm last night. So, you guys song and dance, and I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
We're so excited.
I know. It's going to be different.
You could show some tiny homes or something.
Yeah, something.
Yeah. This one's done, right? It's almost ready
It's
to go.
pretty well close to it.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
it's pretty.
Let's go step inside it real quick. I'm sure Randy will give a
Look at it.
more in detail demonstration of what's going on. But so far, so
this
good.
Is beautiful.
It is more or less.
Is it light? Let's see.
It's not hooked up just yet, but just the sheer fact that the overall size of it, and actually, I think this is the first one I've seen with a full-size bedroom.
Oh, they put the bed in.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yep. Our cabinet maker, Mr. Rob, just got through
that's
putting it in last
beautiful.
night. And it's a good size one.
And it has drawers on the sides.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Plenty of storage.
Awesome.
And this just overall bathroom is just very spacious. Full-size bathroom
Look at this refrigerator.
and bathtub shower.
This is nice. It has drawers.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure Randy's going to go over it.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure. But at least we're
this right here, I learned this from some of the guys. Oh, here we go.
Oh, well, there he is. Oh, we showed him that.
Randy, we're beating you apart. We're beating you ahead of the tour. Okay.
Let me see how it goes. Where's my chargers on that side?
Oh, it's on.
You know what? I don't know how we'll do the charger
Uh-huh.
and the, hang on to that.
Okay.
And the microphone, because it goes in the same one.
I'll just keep an eye on the battery.
Let's see if I'm green. I'm green. Okay. All right, now we got a microphone. Awesome. Okay, everybody, hey, come over here, Nate. All right, what I like to do, we're in our factory. So as you can see, we built this. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a history of who I am, who this company is, and where we've come from, and then why we're having a partnership, and just explain a few things if you're new to this. We've got some RSVP people that are tuning on today. I know a lot of them. We got, I think, 6 folks from California. So I know it's early out there. It's like 7 a.m. So I appreciate you guys tuning in on a Saturday morning, but I think it's going to be well worth all the information that we can give you today about the opportunities of what we're doing. But let me give you just a little history of who we are, where we started, and then why we're doing partnerships, and how I think our dream and this can affect everything. So just for the beginning, I'm been a builder since 1992. So I've built residential homes, commercial homes. I was a school teacher for about 3 years. Built a resort over here near Gatlinburg. Nothing has ever just come to me. I didn't like, oh, I got tons of money. Where's money come from? Well, I was raised in a blue-collar home in Michigan. My family is from Tennessee, but my dad was a coal miner, went to Detroit, worked in the steel mills, and then wanted to raise his family up there, and that's where I was born. But I came down here to be in my heritage, where my family's from, these mountains, and taught school, got into building, and learned a lot about everything, but I was never taught anything. I learned it all on my own. Dad wasn't a carpenter, no family members, nothing was. But I built a home I needed a place to live, right? You need a home to live. And so that's what I did. Well, I learned the trade, sold the first home I had after 5 years in it, because I built it solely by myself, a 3,000 square foot house built out of rough cut lumber, and read a book and built it from reading a book. Well, I sold it, became a contractor throughout those 5 years, sold that house, took the $170,000 and I bought 170 acres for $1,000 an acre. It was just a dilapidated old piece of property. Well, over the next 4 years, I just slowly being a carpenter, added some money to it and built a house on it and ended up being able to borrow money against it, borrowed $500,000. I put 23 lots in it. 10 years later, it was worth $12 million, 73 homes, and we were featured on Southern Living magazine. So I said, boom, and then 08 hit. When 08 hit, of course, I was in debt. We're building. I'm sole proprietor, no investors, nobody. And when it hit, it took the bottom out. Well, we fought for about a year to try to keep it. The bank we were working with, and FDIC came in, shut us down, shut them down, and called our note due. I was out on the street. So 20 years of building an empire was gone. It was a $12 million resort from just a $170,000 investment. So I wandered the world for about 5 years looking for work, looking for everywhere I could go to find money and time. Amanda had told me at the time, she said, have you looked into these tiny homes? And this was 5 years after we lost the resort. And I didn't know anything about a tiny home. I was building sheds, I was building for builders, I was crisscrossing the country working for a friend of mine who's an engineer out of Detroit, building restaurants in Phoenix and Dallas and California, Hawaii. And I got tired of traveling, didn't want that life, and didn't have a dream, didn't have a vision, until she told me about these tiny homes. And I looked at them and I looked at Tumbleweed, and they were selling them for 65 grand. Beautiful home. But I thought, how you can't sell a house like that in Tennessee, because people can buy farms for 65 grand here, right? So I said, how? So I priced it out. I didn't have any money. So I had a friend of mine that we were both he was helping me at the resort. He finally got a job, got some credit, because our credit was zero. I don't think my credit is any more than zero right now, because we've never borrowed a dime to build this. But he had access to about $15,000 on a personal loan. And he gave me 15 grand, because he's almost like a brother to me. Well, I built a Hobbit house for 15,000. Right? We turned around and sold it for 30. I gave him half and I kept half. So I got 7, he got 7. Now he didn't help me build it. He was just a sweetheart of a guy. He's a good friend. He's not a carpenter, but he believed in me. So I gave him 7, I took 7. So I took that money and invested it into a tiny home that was on wheels. And we called it the American Freedom Style. And when I put it on the internet for sale, I put it on Tiny House Listings. That website's still there. Back 5 years ago, that was the only website out there that you could kind of get any kind of notoriety. Well, when I put it on there, Memorial Day 5 years ago, I had 10 calls on that house, because I lived in a 15-foot tiny home for 20 grand. And nobody in the country was selling them for 20 grand. So when I delivered it in Durham, North Carolina, I came back, I had 10 calls on my cell phone, and I'm building these outside in Amanda's backyard, no protection, no nothing. And the way I even got the materials to build the house for 7 grand is I went to a lumber yard in Morristown, and it's a salvage yard. And we still trade with them today. We still give them our business, because they got me started. I went over there and I seen their lot. Their lot was full of just debris everywhere. And you know, I know how a salvage yard is. They just got stuff piled up everywhere. And I told them, I said, if I clean up your yard, would you be able to give me some of the wood that you have left over if it's any good? He said, if you clean up this yard, you can have whatever you want that's halfway decent. He said, matter of fact, I'll even give you my truck, you can transport it. Well, not only did I clean that place up, I probably had an acre of lumber that I took off of his lot, and he let me have them. Well, all the lumber probably wasn't all the best lumber in the world, but I picked through it, windows and metal and framing and flooring and insulation and everything, and I built a tiny home out of scrap. And that's when I sold for 20 grand. Then it took off, and I had 10 bids there. So I built the next one, and then I called a friend of mine, it's Tom, and Tom is here today, still with us. And Tom was 20 years my younger, but he started out with me back at the resort. I called him and I said, Tom, I think I got something. We got about 10 homes to build. How would you like to come and help me? So he came over, and we started slamming them out, just him and me. And we would build them in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, out the door, heading crisscrossing across the country. And you're thinking, how do you get them transported? Well, I didn't know how to transport these things. So I rented a U-Haul. I didn't have the money to rent a U-Haul. And I'm trying to give you guys all this perspective of who I am and how we started it with no money. I have no bank. I have no loans. I have no access to any kind of cash. All right? So I'd ask the homeowner, say, hey, the transportation costs is this. If you'll pay for the U-Haul truck, I'll rent it and bring it to you. And that's how we did it. I drove to San Diego, I drove to Texas, Michigan, New York, Chicago, everywhere, me personally. Tom, we'd get it done. I'd say, Tom, I'll see you in a couple of days. And I've driven to California in 58 hours and come back delivering a house. Just being so excited, you know. But that's how it was started. No money, and it's always started with the people's money. And I'll get into that later about what we're doing with even expounding on that idea even more by showing how the people have actually created this entire business. Excuse me. So I'm trying to get all this out because I don't want to bore you with the details of this business. Oh, and also, we were talking this morning. If you got any, I got to get some water. If you got any questions, we're going to take questions, okay? Nate's holding the phone. Beautiful Amanda's not here. Amanda is so good with doing answering questions and keeping me fired up and everything, but she has come down with the COVID. I call it the COVID. Gosh, you can tell I'm from Tennessee. But she's not here, Nate, so we're going to have a question and answer time later in the show. So if you got any questions, write them down and I'll be glad to answer anything you want, anything kind of question, okay? But just to give that backdrop of who I am and where we're from and what created this company, and that's how it came out of that. Tom came, then Joseph came. Joseph's a young guy. He's 27 years old this month. He's the same age as my son, and I've known his dad and I are just childhood buddies. And so he came on. He's a great carpenter. He still works here now. And then as you can see, we've got 10 or 12 homes inside this place. This place is built out of scrap lumber. These arches, we made them on the floor. We made patterns. My son and I built the first 100 feet by ourselves. Then the guys helped us put some of the metal on, and then the guys helped us build the next 100 feet. The only reason the guys couldn't help us on the first 100 is because they were busy building homes, or they would have been here for us. So all this is nothing but hands-on, pure grit. All right? Thank you, buddy. It's just pure grit that got this place going. It has never went good. It's always been a challenge. From the money end of things to the hard work. Tom and I and Joseph and some of the guys in here, we have went long-term staying up. When we say we have to have a house out in like April 5th, right? And there's just things that take time. You have back sets. You may have a water leak. You may have a problem with the paint. You have a problem with electrical. Things that happen. And we're out in her backyard. Then we're over this little factory we were renting. We would be up for over 38 to 46 hours stretch with no sleep because we know our customers are probably homeless. They got to have a place to stay. They got things waiting. We probably did that over 25, 30 times. And the last 5 times we did that, I actually could feel it in my body. It was just hurting me. And I could tell that was, and I didn't know how bad it was until I looked into it. And that's probably the worst thing you could do to yourself. No matter how good you care for yourself, but sleep deprivation and overwork and stress like that can just take you out. So I stopped Tom. He's younger than me and was stronger than doing all that, but we had to stop. I was really concerned about our health. But that's the determination behind this company, is trying to make that happen. We've had offsets. We've had people that didn't want their house. We delivered it to them. They were upset with us. I've given their money back. Probably shouldn't have, but I did just because I got to keep people happy. And that's just the way I do. We've had situations where plumbing has leaked in other states like Oklahoma, Montana. I had a guy in Montana one time. We put plugs in the wall and we overcut some of the cuts and some of this stuff like that. And I sent Brett to Montana. He tore the wood out of 3 or 4 pieces of wood. Right, Brett? Yeah. A couple other things. Flew him to Montana. He took care of it and brought it home. So it cost us probably $3,000 to get him out there to take care of some wood. I've done that because I want our customers to be happy, right? I want them to be satisfied. But because of all that money, it's really set us back. And I could tell you a dozen other things that's happened that's caused us not to be a profitable business at this point. Our price point on our homes, the profit, the labor, and everything involved in that, there's money in it for this company to thrive and to in its life. But it takes time. And then when you get hit like that, it sets you back. You got to build an infrastructure. Then we bought some land here. There's just a lot to it. So just listen, and I'm sure you can read between the lines, all the energy and everything that it took to get here. No investors, nobody saying, hey, Randy, I'm going to come in here and give you $1 million and get you your building, get your infrastructure, hire you some good guys, and then you're clicking, right? And then pay the loan back. That didn't happen. We go hand to mouth, and we do what we can, and it's long nights, long days, and that's what brought us to this point, okay? Let me get me a drink of water here.
Hey, Randy, real quick, we got a couple people asking how Amanda's doing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see, just checking in on her.
You know what? I wrote on my notes here, the first thing I wanted to do was tell everybody how Amanda is, and I wanted to thank everybody, so let me retract back here. Amanda has COVID, and so does Alyssa that worked in the office, and then Amanda's son. Amanda and Alyssa's mom has really took a hard hit with this. They've had fevers, nausea, just bad symptoms for about 11 days. Walt over here that owns a health food store, he came over here and gave us a ton of stuff, showing us what to do, the protocol for Amanda. It's taken about 4 days for her to come snapping out of it. Last night, it started just easing off. She had a headache. She thought she was going to go insane. And Amanda's a pretty tough gal. She doesn't cry. She endures a lot. And she was crying on the phone. She says, Randy, I don't know what I'm going to do. But with the treatment that Walt did, and I always encourage everybody that Mustard Seed here in Newport, he is a world-renowned person that travels the world lecturing on health, nutrition, and what he did, the protocol that he put forth for Amanda, brought her headache down, brought a lot of her symptoms down, and I talked to her this morning, and she's feeling amazing, still hesitant because she felt good about 4 days ago, and then it come back with vengeance and just about took her out. So, you know, I talked to some people who say, hey, this COVID's not real, and everybody, the government, conspiracy theories and all that stuff. You know what? I don't know about any of that stuff. All I know is this: Amanda got sick, and it ain't the flu. A flu lasts 3 or 4 days, maybe a week. She's been down, and it's been terrible. Alyssa, 70 years old, incoherent, didn't know her name, didn't know what was going on. Oxygen levels of 73, take them to the hospital. They don't know what to do. They say, just go home. At 7302. No medicines, didn't give them any protocol to follow, nothing. Just said, come back when you're about dead. Okay, so we've been on our own here. We've had a lot of people, prayers, and people giving us suggestions of what to do and how to do it. There's no answers. You know, what is it, the chloroxyquiliquine or whatever it is, they can't even get that prescribed to us. The doctors won't prescribe nothing. If it wasn't for Walt over here helping us out with a and get the fevers down and get the headaches away and help out with all that, I don't know what would have happened. Also, I have a friend in Florida, Joseph's dad, my childhood, buddy. He works at a medical supply. He owns a medical supply, and he sent up 2 concentrators, cannulas, a nebulizer, and all that stuff for us also. So everybody's been pitching in. You guys have called a lady who called Walt, brought aloe vera liquid over here for Amanda. All these recipes, right? Nobody knows really. They think, maybe they do, maybe they don't. All I know is whatever we tried really helped Amanda, right? Said they had a lady come in here, her son was 28 years old, and it took him 30 days to get over it. Amanda's in her, I think, 11th, 12th day, and I hope it doesn't come back. But thank you for asking about her. We really miss her being here, being a part of the company. I know Pandy was talking about how she loves, Amanda, and she brings that female touch to this industry that's really dominated by female purchasers. So our customers are 98% female. And so I'm amazed that I'm representing the company. And I told Amanda, I said, you should represent the company, not me. I'll just be the carpenter, But I think with her and I both giving both sides of it has really helped us in our endeavors of growing a company, So, but I got some thoughts because I don't want to, there's a lot to cover on the information, but, and I've got a couple guys. I got some folks I got Brett here, I got Zach that are building for us now. They're actually on the partnership. All the guys are not here this morning. I want them they'll give you their stories and evolving into this, and you can ask them questions and how all that works. I'm also going to tell you all what's the main thing, right? Is money. I know everybody's here. We're here for the money. We're here to make money. We're here as carpenters. We can't bust our health and we're working hard physically, not for free. It's just like them coming from Idaho. He said, hey, we're good, but we got to have money. I got to think about making a living doing this. So we're going to explain the money. We're going to explain how that works, all right, and how I've figured this all out. What we've called this is, we've called it a partnership. I wanted to do a franchise, but the franchise bureaucracy is just so involved with the laws and the contracts that you have to perform to get them there. But a partnership is more of just like what it is. We're a partner, but we're not partner on paper. So in real simple terms, anybody that builds their home is really a subcontractor, okay? So you're a subcontractor, you're paid just to perform the work. You don't have to purchase anything. You don't have to purchase any of the tool, any of the wood, the trailer, nothing. So in this premise right now that we've done partnership, learn about how all the intricacies to make it happen, which I'll explain. We're getting it perfected and getting it down, so then when we have to ship a home to Idaho, they've got everything they need to build this home. All right, so a partnership is a certain size home has this much labor involved in it, and then that's what you're paid to do, is build that home for that amount's labor. Now our labor is in the square footage, so we have a square footage price, okay? To do that price, I'll have to show you what house is involved in that price. The RJO is our simplest home. If you go on our website, we got RJOs, Freedoms, and then Craftsman. The Craftsmans are just super custom. So what I've done is I've priced out our RJOs and Freedoms. Our RJOs start at $39 a square foot. So all from the trailer, bare trailer up, and I'm going to show you some of the homes. I'm going to show you stages of these homes throughout this broadcast. I'll show you some framing, the flooring, the finished product, and what's involved in what you guys will be performing. I'm hoping most of you are craftsmen. You've been in it for years. You know what's involved in building a home, even if you've been into commercial work. You've done some remodeling. Some of these folks that are interested in this may not be a contractor. That's fine with me. But there's some great craftsmen out there that have been building on their own home, been on additions for families, doing some side work, that have got some great skill. What I'm hoping to do is tap into those folks this can actually generate an income for you. And we do all the marketing, we do all the customer base, we do all the communicating, we do it all. And I'll explain our process, how all that works. Let me see here. So why a partnership? Why don't I just build, a bigger building and have produce them and ship them across the country? My philosophy in business or life is not to have hourly employees. I like to be stimulated in my work and in my finances, and I like to be in control. For me being that way, I don't like to have hourly employees that have set a certain number of money they're going to make, and that's it. I think it kills incentive and it kills ambition, right? And so to get away from that, we've never had the money to actually say, okay, here's this much money to build this house and go out, because that took so much money of the labor. We would make money off our labor like you should, and we would have to use that money to keep the business going. But now, because we've built a brand name for ourselves and we've got enough work coming in, now we can start putting these partnerships together and start paying by the job. So to me, that's why I want by the job. I've called my accountant, a labor attorney, trying to figure out, they're scratching their heads like, why don't you want employees? And when I told them, I said, why? They said they've never heard of that before, because most factories have hourly employees, and I don't want any. By skill and trade, I'm just an average guy. I'm a builder. I like building. I'm super physical. I love working physically. Being in the office and doing what I'm doing is totally against my nature. I've been able to, discipline myself in the fact that I can talk to accountants and do my business and take care of all these things. That's not my true love. My love is working. So I want to get back to that. And to do that, I want partnerships. And I want quality partnerships that will turn into really good business people, because we're offering something that can actually create a company for yourself and under our title. So we have worked all those nights for 48 hours straight for 5 years, building over 450 homes in this company, and dedicated people in the process and the designs and everything that we've done to come to this point to where now we can offer this process to you all in building these homes and duplicate what we've done, all right? You will duplicate, we will teach you on how to build these things, but in the end, you'll end up putting your own personality into it, all right? You will end up having your own speed in which you want to do things, where you're going to lay your materials and how you're going to frame and what you're going to do. I will teach you how to frame and trim and wire and plumb and everything, not just me, but the guys here. But after that, you may put this together in a different way that just fits you. And I think that's the unique beauty of this, because if you're by the hour, you're just a machine. You're just doing what we tell you to do. If you're by the piecework, your incentive is to get done faster, do it better, right? And make more money. And that's where we're at. Now, I know this show, we got a lot of customers watching this, people that may buy homes from us, and that's great. And I want them to hear this too, because I don't hide anything about this company and about our philosophy in business. I'm not here as a non-profit organization. We're here as a viable corporation in America to make a living and to make money, all right? Is that our golden carrot? By no means it's not. If it would, we wouldn't do what we do and give all that we give back to the people that we build these homes for. In the end, if you have just a mindset of just money, you can't build a product like this. You can't build a product. I think people, when they see these products, they can feel it. They can sense that people have taken their time and they want to build these. Just like Pandy said, she came in here and her husband said when they were here, they can talk to these guys. They know that they want to be here and they know they want to work, you know? And so every guest that we've ever come by here has always bragged about our guys and why they're here, you know? So there's a whole lot more to it. But because we're talking about business today, I just wanted to bring it up. Guys, we are about money, we are about making a living, but at the same time, every guy in here is almost handpicked because of their mentality. It comes down to where we have to care about each other. This is a hard life. It's hard physically. It's hard, just everything about what we do, but you have to be a certain type of person to want to do this. This is not for everybody. So if you're in here, maybe as an investor, maybe a person who doesn't want to ever swing a hammer and you want to hire guys to do the work and you're going to try to make money off of that and make numbers and all this stuff, I'm not sure that's going to work in that manner. You'll have to crunch the numbers, but I know it won't work spiritually like that. It really has to, and I know that may sound pie in the sky, and how do you involve spirituality with the business? Well, I think it's hand in hand. I know it has been in my life. We have hit so many hard roads in just blocks, and if it wasn't for being somewhat spiritually strong and having people behind you emotionally and pushing you through things, you'd fail. And I've hit so many roads and blocks, and you know, when you get my age, you feel like you've lived 5 times, right? 5 lifetimes. And if it wasn't for maybe a spouse, a friend, people that really have helped you, you'd never be to the point where you're at. So when you get our age, it's like money's not the carrot. The carrot is meeting people that want to fly in from Idaho to see what you're doing, you know? Having these guys here that work here, seeing their lives as young men, you know, buying trucks and having families and whatever they want to do and aspire to something, because I'm going to be gone, you know, and they're going to be taking over and they're going to be going, and hopefully this will be a legacy that'll continue. And that's the premise of this business. That's the mindset of what we're doing. It's not all about money, but it is about money, okay? So I hope that's a good balance and hope you understand where I'm coming from on that. Why the partnerships, what's the pitfalls of a partnership? The pitfalls of a partnership is trying to figure all this out and transporting all the materials to these guys, crisscrossing the country. If we got 5 or 6 builders in California and we're shipping this stuff and you guys don't have a faucet and you don't have a sink and we've missed out on something, then you're going to be short. And you're going to be calling me and you're going to be mad saying, Randy, we don't have a sink and how we're going to get it. You got to ship it. It's going to delay the cost. Now we got men standing here. They're not doing anything. I know all those things, right? Because it happens here. The only reason we're offering this partnership is because we finally think we've got a protocol and a system down that hopefully will alleviate that. We've employed several people to help us get to the point to where we can take a takeoff, a set of blueprints. And we, like I said, over 400 homes. So we know what it takes to build a home. But because we're so busy, we don't have the time to just sit down and study these prints and do a complete material takeoff. So I've employed somebody to help us with that. She is in the point right now of doing all the material takeoffs for the homes we have on. We got 70 homes on the books that we need to build. So she's starting to go and get all these material takeoffs, from electrical plugs to a GFI, to a USB port, to a screw, to a cover plate, to an escutcheon on your plumbing, to a plug underneath the house, weatherproof caps. All that stuff is on a list that'll be shipped out, okay? So with that in hand, that's why we feel comfortable that we can offer this partnership and not cause you more pain and cause us more money. But it is a pitfall, and it is something, as you can tell, it's going to be somewhat of a challenge to make sure all that happens. What we're probably figuring on what's going to happen is, like these folks are from Idaho, he's building homes. He's going to probably end up building up some sort of an inventory of over things that we've shipped. We may ship extra 2x4s, extra siding, extra fittings, extra stuff that he has somewhat of an inventory that he can dig into if something breaks, if something doesn't come in or something happens. And so in your partnerships, you'll probably have some sort of an inventory that you'll have, right? You'll just acquire things. That's just what'll happen. But it's a pitfall. It's a hard thing to overcome, but I'm putting people in place to make that happen. We've got an inventory team. I've got two men that now are counting our inventory coming and going, keeping track of our inventory, and we've got 2 software programs that are going to help us contain all that. So that'll help. We're implementing that. It's almost done, keeping track of all of our inventory. So if we've got 1,000 2x4s and they're down to, maybe 500, it automatically orders more 2x4s, more shower heads, all this stuff that we need to build a home. We've got a facility that we're being able to stack this in here. As these guys turn into partnerships and go home and build, this building here could probably be turned into more of a distribution center than a construction site. I'd still like to have half of it at least guys building. But we don't know what's going to happen in the future. We may have to bigger building, but it'll house all of our inventory. I think it's exciting about where this could actually go. Then we have to truck everything. So let's say we've got to truck everything to Sacramento, and we've got to get materials out there. We got a builder out there. Well, what if we, of course, going 2,700 miles? What we'd like to do is throw 4 or 5 homes on there, all their traders, stack it up. We got them and we ship them out. We ship everything to build 5 homes, right? So then our transportation costs are low. We absorb that cost. You as partnerships, you don't. All you do is you build the house. That's all you do. I started outside with no building. We built for probably a year in the elements. Then we built a little shed, a makeshift shed. And then after that, we ended up renting a building and got inside. It really wasn't much of an inside because the roof leaked when we got over there, right? But it was inside. So that's your responsibility to house yourself. I know they're talking in Idaho, it's got severe winters and they got to have a building. And in California, where it doesn't rain but 5 inches a year, you may not need a building as much, right? You can cover things up, you can work outside. I don't know if I'd have a building if I lived out in the desert or in California. So different ways of doing it, but you are responsible for this home. So if this home doesn't leave properly and materials are ruined or something happens, I know we've had a house, we lay the wood floors in here, okay? So this is a 1x6 tongue and groove yellow pine. So if you put your floor in there, you insulate it, wired and plumbing insulated, and then it rains on that, the floor's shot, it's done. I'm talking just probably a light sprinkle, and you've got to tear that floor back up. I've never had to tear a floor back up. Have you, Brett? I can't tell you how many I've tore up. Because you want to get it done, you want to get the floor and build it, but you can't, and and you can't do it. So to have a building would be great if you can. Like I said, that's really up to you. But if that floor gets wet, it's gone. You got to replace it. That's a cost, all right? So be prepared. The only thing that I can see in the partnerships is tools in a building. Other than that, we cover everything. Tools are minor. I built my own first home with a Sawzall, a skill saw. I think that was it. I didn't even have a table saw. I used to rip with my hand saw, all right? So, and it gets you a table saw, a nail gun. So I think probably less than $1,000, $2,000 at the most, is enough tools to get into business doing this. So think about it. Just $2,000 worth of tools and you're in business. You can build them outside, but you're responsible for it. Now, we still frame outside and it's in the elements, but what we do is we don't put our floor down. We'll put our floor joists down, frame it all, get it all completely dried in, so if it rains, just like you're building a residential home on a job site, it gets wet. When you get the roof on it, then you can go inside, right? And then you can start putting your floor down and go, and it's all protected. So there are ways of working around the weather. All in all, the most ideal circumstances to have a building. We have a partnership they did great. But by the time we got our second one in there, they built an entire building. So now they can build 4 at a time. They're on their 4th home for us, and they're excited about it. He can walk outside his door into his shop, and he's good. He doesn't have to run the roads, hiring somebody to run him because he's Amish and they don't have cars. So it's just a great convenience for him to build at home. We have men here that have families, young kids, and they said if I was at home working, I would work more. I would get more done, because in the evenings when family's eating dinner and everybody's just sitting around watching TV, he said, I want to build. I want to go outside in my shop. If I had a tiny home, I would work, right? So there's all kinds of benefits to being at home, building these tiny homes. Another benefit that we have seen in our partnerships is that if you're building one home and it's you, maybe and a helper, you don't have all of this distraction that we have inside this shop. When you see a cut and you don't like your cut, if you've made a mistake, and who's seen me or whatever, you're just going to pull it off and be done, because you know that you're going to have to take a video and pictures of every detailed inch of these things. And I know what to look for. And that's what I do in my videos. I show you different corners and cuts and places that could be hidden by a carpenter, but I try to point them out, because this is the gray area that, hey, nobody will ever see. Well, I want you to see that gray area. And I'll know when these guys are building, take that laptop or take that tablet and walk me through this house. So when you're at home by yourself working, I think you'll have more of an advantage of being able to take your time and realize what you're building and really create something. But, and I may be jumping the gun a little bit on all that, because the whole process, okay, and after we tell you the pitfalls and the benefits, and that is a benefit. Let me just say that's a benefit, I think, of being at home instead of being here. And then I'll tell you our process and how we'll get to that point. Okay, and that was my next thing on my list here, is how do we make all this work? So let's say we've interviewed and we got your list of experiences. We've talked to you extensively. I think it's going to be a 4 or 5 part interview. I think I want some of the other guys here to interview you all too and understand who you are as a person, your skill. If you have the time and money to come here and we meet you, it would be great too. But let's just say it's in, you're done, it's a good deal, come on and let's try it. What we want to do is you have to come here and you have to learn what we do. You may build carpenter, but you have to come here. We've got 3 or 4 apartments out back that we put together just for partnerships. You got a bathroom, a shower, a heating and air system. You bring your bed linens and a bed and you lay down on the floor, a little bit of loft, but you're right here in the shop. And this is all new for us, but I think probably it's going to have to be probably 30 days that you're here. We're all going to play with this, but once we see that you've learned all the steps involved, and I'll have a curriculum, so when you get here, we're going to build a complete home. So let's say you're a partnership, you just got in here from Oregon, you're going to stay in the back, it's Monday morning, and you walk out here. When you get here, and we're going to do a tour of these homes, and I'll show you then the actual homes and the work involved. But what you will do is you take a bare trailer, blueprints that we'll probably send you before you get here that you can study, and you will take that home and build it, right? You will build that home, and you'll be paid to build it. So you're building it just like you're in a partnership, but you will be taught how to do all these things. You'll be taught the little things that we've learned that makes you efficient. A lot of things, just a really quick example is when we frame the floor and we got it down, when you're framing a wall, we frame the wall on the trailer, not on the floor, because you don't have to bend over. Well, when you frame one wall, we don't take that wall and set it off to the side. You leave it there. And you build the next wall, and the next wall, and the next wall. You build all 4 walls on the trailer so you're not bending over. You don't have to move anything. When you're framing your walls, we lay out the rafters on the top plate. Sit your rafters because you don't want to get on the ladder and do your layout on your top plate because it takes time. The marks are already there. We got rafters that are pre-built. We got doors and windows that are pre-built. Our sills, our cripples, our ledgers, our corners are all pre-built. On our blueprints, we tell you a 38-inch cripple under a 3030 window. You got a 26 cripple under a 3040. All that stuff is done. You don't have to think about it. That's called speed, right? We'll show you how to put the wood floors down where there's no waste. We'll show you how to put the V-groove in here so there's tight corners. There's just a little bit of a system. You know how to use a nail gun. You know how to pull a measurement and cut. But there's a way of doing this that increases the speed. Is if you got some scrap on your V-groove and you got a 3-foot piece, you just don't throw it away. Because inside that bathroom, you got scrap pieces that you're going to need are 18 inches on the side of a window that's going in a corner, and you can use all your scrap. So we're trying to make you efficient and fast and do a great job. All those little things, and those are just a few things that we'll teach you when you get here. Water heater installation, electric, gas, right? Your range hoods, how to drill through for an air exchanger. Windows, solid core windows, how we trim them out. We just don't build a box for solid pieces of glass. There's ways we do it. The way we slant our wood for water. Water's a big deal for us. So we've got a system in which how we waterproof our homes and how we flash things. Just little things. Once you know it once, you'll do it. But it's going to take about 30 days to get to that point to understand all that. As soon as you do, you can take it, and we're hoping you can run with it. Now, let's say you learn it and you go back home. You got your shop, you got your friend, your wife, whoever's going to help you, or by yourself. Brett builds by himself. Zach builds by himself. His wife helps him out a little bit at home. They're doing great. They're right on the money with speed and efficiency. They've done it for a while. But let's say you're home and now you're building. And let's say you got some questions, all right? What we're going to do is we're going to invest in an IT system where you have either a tablet or a laptop. And you can say, hey, it's Monday morning, you're getting ready to frame. We're going to be available through IT services, and you can get online and we can be able to talk to you, and you can walk through. Hey, Randy, we got a question on here on the floor joists. The trailer's not square. It's got a little bit of a camphor in it. What are we going to do about it? And I'll tell you how we got to shim, we got to go, pull square, diagonals, and how you can get that straightened out. You may have a plumbing issue. Hey, where they got a floor joist right where a toilet is, how are we going to build a header around the toilet? Water lines are going to be in the way. We got freezing. There's a ton of questions, right? So we want to be involved in that. So we'll have an IT. And what I would like to do, my main goal would be, is if we have 20 partnerships, everybody can tune in on that Monday morning at 8 o'clock. And we can all have a conversation, because whatever somebody else is having a problem with, you guys, oh yeah, that's true. I had the same situation. How can we talk to each other? And then us being, we've done this so much, hopefully until you guys get really rolling, we'll be able to give you expert advice in how to make this happen. Most of our homes that we sell to people, all of our homes we sell to people, are done through internet and video and pictures, right? So they trust us through internet and pictures. And we sell these houses, and we build a business off that same service through videos and pictures, and trying to maintain quality and maintain everything that has to be done, all right? So that's how we take care of quality. It's how we take care of building these homes efficiently. And any questions that you might have is through, of course, phone, but we want to do it through video and pictures, all right? So then we go from that point, what about Ansi certification? And what about spray foam? Those are our two biggest concerns right now and hurdles that we need to jump. We were talking last night about spray foam. How are we going to get it done? Well, we may have to pay extra and have you guys subcontract it out to somebody that comes in. It costs us about $1 a square foot of coverage, all right? That's closed cell foam, but that's our cost, what we do. They're going to charge you more than that. But we may have to pay for that. That'll come out of us, not you. That'll come out of us to get it spray foam, just because we want you guys to be building. I've got a cousin in West Virginia. He may be watching right now. His name's Greg. He's coming in Monday with a couple buddies to do this partnership. They have found a company that will lease the machine if you buy the product. So can you guys imagine if we got 20 of you all wanting to do this? That company is going to be excited to think about. They're going to have 20 machines leased and buying all this equipment and buying all this material. I mean, just buying the material. So we're going to look into that and see if that spray foam might be an answer to what we need to do for our installation. If not, we need to get estimates from the local guys. Spray deal. Now we use closed cell, floors, ceilings, and walls everywhere, and it holds the house together. massive R value, and we don't use open cell. Our studs are 2.5 inches thick. There's not 3.5. We only use 2 inches of insulation throughout the house. Ceilings, we probably put a little bit more when we can, but we've found it's been. This home was a 24-foot home. It came back to us just for some remodel. The lady wanted some different siding on it. Well, she's been in Florida for, I think, 3-4 years now, and her light bill has never been over $20. In Florida, running full-time her AC unit, all right? No more than 20 bucks, like ever. And she's kept track of it. She pays 10 cents a kilowatt. So because of that, it's due because of the size, of course, but because of our efficiency with the spray foam. So that's the other hurdle that you need to jump, and we'll look into that more as we go. The next one is the Ansi certification. Being Ansi certified, there's a couple things that we need to do. The company that we use is out west in Wyoming. They do a periodic inspection of our facility about every 3 to 4 months. And what they do is they have to inspect about a 10% of our product that goes out the door. File on everything that we have Ansi certified. We have a file, shows all the documentations of it, pictures and everything that we need to do. If you all are off site, he will have to come to your site and inspect yours. You will be your own entity, right? You can't fall under our Ansi certification, but we will help set that up for you. There's actually a device, a small electrical box, and it plugs in almost 1 million volts into the house. How that works, I have no idea, but it's got warning signs on it. They can blow up if you don't wire your house right? But anyway, we plug this into your home. It's an Ansi certification. It tests all of the electrical devices in the house, from your breakers to the light fixtures to the plugs, the USB ports, anything to do with electrical. And it has a printout, and it'll show you where the problem is. We've had a Lowe's puck light that we checked everywhere. There was a problem in the house, and you eliminate it by circuits. And it was a Lowe's light where the neutral wasn't wired right from the factory. And we had to replace that. So you will end up having, if there's any kind of Ansi certification, you will have that device that you'll need to Ansi certify your home and how to go about doing that. If you do an Ansi certification, there's money for you, right? You got to be paid to do those things because that's more than just building the home. So you'll be compensated for anything you do above and beyond our basic bill. Let's say you guys, an RJO has no dormers. But if you want to put a dormer on it, because the contract says a dormer, you'll be paid extra on top of the base price of how to build. So $39 a square foot to build an RJO, the dormer is going to be extra. Right now, we're looking at about $1,000 more just for the dormer, okay? If you have a tongue box on the front, that'll be more. Anything above and beyond. And we'll have those list of amenities and what those amenities are. And we're going through those amenities right now because we just have our basic costs from $39 a square foot from your RJOs. That is an 8-foot wide home, right? It'll go 8, 9, and 10 because the square footage is bigger. But then it's only a straight gable. Straight gables are super simple to do. If you have a dormer, that turns you into a freedom. And you've got appliances and heating and air and stuff like that. When you are here, we'll teach you how to install a mini split. The mini splits already have their coolant inside of it, so they're self-charged. What you have to do is dehydrate the lines. You got to evaporate the lines and get all the moisture out of it, hook it up, then you release the coolant and it's set up. We'll show you how to do that. The drain lines, the line set. That's more money for you, all right? Anything above and beyond. So when you do this partnership, today is just a day to introduce you to what we're doing and for you to realize that there is money here to be made, and we will take care of you on that to make sure you're successful. If you're not successful, we won't be successful. When it comes down to the labor, like on a 16-foot RJO, you're looking at $5,000 for labor, right? Tom built one by himself. I think we showed it the other day. He was here. Like I said, Tom works with me for years, but he himself did it, I think, in 11 days, just by himself, all right? $5,000. He's a great carpenter, and he's been doing this for a long time, but we know we can teach you that same system. So you do two a month, you're looking at close to 10 grand for a month. And that's by yourself if you wanted to. I know that sounds crazy. Let's do one a month. One a month is about 60 grand a year. And one a month you can do in your sleep after you show you what we're doing, right? So there's money there. We want you to make money. Our profit off of a 16 foot, 2 grand, maybe $2,500 if we're lucky. So our numbers, our way that we're going to be viable as a company is to do volume. And then when the houses get bigger, there's more work, and with more work, it's exponentially more profit, but it takes more risk, and so I've crunched the numbers, and that's why we've got these floor prices or square footage prices for everybody. All right, let me make sure I'm telling everything. I told you about our inventory. Our co-construct is our software that we're using. Transporting our materials. And okay, you'll get blueprints. We've got 2 designers that work, and I think it's unique how we hire people, because our one designer is she works full-time working for a transmission factory that builds transmissions for John Deere, right, and some other companies. It's a here in Morristown. And so she designs transmissions, and inside she works for us doing designs. She's an amazing detailed drawer. Then we had another lady that is going to buy a home from us, and she's a stewardess, and she loves designing homes. Well, with this COVID going on, she's out of work or kind of in between jobs, so she's designing for us now. She's been under training for a couple months. Now she's putting out the designs. So we're able to tap into people that maybe not be full-time. That's fine with me, but they're doing these designs. You'll get we do it on a SketchUp software, and they'll be printed out. We're going to do it digitally. We hope to send you, if you got your laptop or your tablet, we'll send you digitally these floor plans. You can print them out if you need them physically on the job site or not. I think it's going to get to where we're more digital. You can sweep through, you can look at what we're doing, and you can look at your blueprints, and that's how you'll build. Super detailed, from the color of the roof to this type of siding you use, where the plugs. A customer may say, you know what, in my loft on the left-hand corner where I'm going to put my head in my bed, I want a USB port right there, because that's how I'm going to charge my phone. That'll be on there, and you'll be able to know where to put that little box and what wire to run for that USB port, right? And inside your inventory, you will have a USB port that's installed in that box, and it'll be written out for you. That's how we're trying to get this thing. We're doing that here in the shop. Is it perfect? No, it's not. We are getting there. That's why we're doing this presentation today. For you to start building as a partnership right now, the minimum that you would ever get started from right now, of course, if you showed up tomorrow, would be 30 days, right? You're training, then you got to get back home. So we're looking at a couple months, 2 or 3 months for you actually to get set up. I think it's perfect timing, because once you do get set up, we're about to get financing here through a 21st mortgage that we've been trying for 6 months. We actually got all our paperwork straightened out. It's all done with the state, and we're all set. When we actually did a trial or a mock setting of how many people would want a home, we got bombarded with over 200 inquiries for loans that wanted to buy our homes. If we get bombarded with 200 homes, we need you all to build them for us. A lot of our homes are west of the Mississippi. If you guys are west there, we'd love to start shipping materials out there. You're building homes. It helps the customer in transportation costs. So if we got a hauler, he doesn't have to haul from Tennessee. He has to haul from Colorado, Idaho, Arizona. And if you're in California, you got California people. So it's really going to be, I think, really cost advantageous for us to have these partnerships, right? So that's where we're going. There's going to be questions. There's going to be tweaking as we go. And before I get Brett and Zach on here, there's one thing that they're going to talk about when you get on here. Now, they're actually doing partnerships here, and that they're our guinea pigs, okay, that we're working with. The one thing that I really want you to understand is, if you're a craftsman, just like we were talking last night, he's been in building forever. His whole life, he said, was up and down. You get money, you lose money. You get money, you lose money. And that's construction. It's just, gosh, when it snows and it rains and calamity and stuff. I remember Ross Perot said one time, he said, if you're ever going to want to make money, don't get in construction, because you're limited by the elements that are outside that door. Normally it's in the elements you got to deal with. Now we're in a production and manufacturing where we're inside away from the elements, and we're hoping that we can be more productive now, because we're not consumed with the elements. But what I wanted to tell you is when you're in this construction, nothing is perfect, all right? We were talking to Brett this morning. We are not a mobile home manufacturing where we have big cranes down here and everything is the same, like a puzzle. They're never the same, all right? They're never the same. The wood, even the physical wood, is not the same. When you get a mobile home, you know why you get that press board with the paper already glued on it? because it's the same. The pattern's the same, the glue's the same, everything, the doors are the same, everything's the same. We build a lot of our own doors here, and they'll move a little bit and they'll tweak, and we tell people our doors are gonna move because they're just real wood, but they want the nostalgia, that feel that a human being has actually thought about this house. It's built out of wood or whatever it is, the craftsmanship, right? So if you think you're coming into this thinking that every house, and you're gonna be able to click them and go, because it's a systematic process. It is going to be as systematic as we possibly can, but it does come down to being able to, like, you know what, guys, we're going to have to be out of here 3 or 4 more hours. I can't just stop at 5 o'clock every day. You may have to work to midnight. You may have a mistake that happened. You may have a plumbing leak in here, a little nail went in. You got to fix it, right? You got to keep your pressure on your water lines. There's just a lot of stuff to it. So it's not a cookie cutter business, and it's not made for everybody. All right, so if you're a craftsman, you know all those things. You already know, and I'm preaching to the choir. But if you're not a craftsman, you have not built homes before, and you're thinking about investing, and you're thinking about how I can make these numbers work. You know, if you're an engineer and you're thinking, okay, we can systematically put the wood here and the tools here and the power here to get them out and get it like that, great. That's going to help you, but it will never work like that. All right, you're going to have pitfalls, you're going to have setbacks, and then you're going to have surges too. But like we talked about, if you've been in this industry forever and you're inside a conditioned area, your output and your longevity is going to be more so than if you're out there building homes, right, on your own. All right. Hey, Brett, come on up here, buddy. Now, I've got the microphone on me, and I'm going to show you this guy here. Look at him. Just look at him. Does he look like a carpenter? Look at him. He's beautiful.
I got cuts.
Yeah, he's got cuts. Brett, how long you been with us, buddy?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. He's from California, as you can tell, okay? You can tell. And Brett's unique. He's got a great personality. He's surfed. He's lived out in California. He's been everywhere. He's got just a lot of experiences of life. And I was glad to see him when he came here because he brought a whole different feel to the whole place. Tell us what's going on with you getting here and how long you worked. You've been building.
Well, I got in the mid-2000s flipping homes when the flipping was good out in California, and then the bottom fell out of that, and I sort of pretty much stayed away from it for several years, and then moved to Tennessee and answered a Craigslist ad that said tradesman wanted. I had no idea what it was.
Yeah.
And I called up, and it was Tom's cell phone, and he says, yeah, we build tiny homes, come on down, check it out. And then I pulled up to that scary old shop.
Oh my God. Like zombie land.
It was bad. It was scary. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, is this a real place? And then I went in and saw the houses, and then I couldn't not work for you guys. So now that's what I do.
Cool. Yeah. When you got here, your skill level was, you could do some things, right? And then now 2.5 years later, you're working by yourself now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And he's a beast. He came here wanting to learn a lot of stuff, but just with his independent mindset, he wanted to make sure. And you know what? He's working as hard when he was by the hour as he is by the job. I find that a lot. His incentive, his drive wasn't money. It came in here. I could tell. He wanted to build this company for us and for him and for the longevity. And now that he's partnership, which I'm glad because he's making more money now than you were. And so as you're building, what can you tell somebody who wants to get into this, the pros and the cons of just the tiny home and the customers you deal with and kind of like the whole feel of building a house for somebody? I know you interact with the customers almost all the time.
Yeah, I prefer to interact with the customers. Then I can know I'm getting them exactly what they want. I get to know their personalities. I'll send them pictures and video updates all the time, and that's what I prefer to do. Mm-hmm. It helps me, and it makes me enjoy it more too. Not all customers want that. They say, no, just build my house, and I'll come get it when it's done. Yeah. But it seems like a majority do enjoy that, and I do too. And it makes it more worthwhile. And like I said, I get to know their tastes, their styles. We can do little tweaks here and there, and to me, it makes the process a lot more fulfilling, and they get exactly what they want. Yeah. And like you were saying earlier, these are all completely custom. There's no cookie cutter house. Of course we got certain styles,
and then we branch off from there. Yeah.
But yeah, it's I enjoy building, and I like working with my hands all day. You know, and whenever you have your meetings, I'm always like this. Look, can't wait to
Just quit talking,
Gotta
Randy.
go.
Let's go back to work.
This is kind of killing me standing around here today.
Yeah.
No, but it's I really enjoy it, and if anyone is a carpenter or any kind of craftsman, I would give it a shot. If I had just heard about this, going through the internet, I probably would be very interested in
Yeah.
learning more.
Good.
If I wasn't already doing it.
Yeah, right. You know what I want to do is I want to show you a house that Brett's building right now. So this is a builder, if you know. Now we're going to show you, I'm talking real life, we're going to show you a home that he's built, right? And gosh, I don't know how many homes you built.
I lost track.
Yeah, and
A
he
lot.
builds them solely by himself, right?
I'll use a helper for sheathing some of the times, or do a V-groove or something.
Yeah.
Or something I just don't want to do.
Right.
Have somebody,
Right.
I'll just pay somebody to do it. But for the most part, yeah, I like doing it all myself. And it takes me a little bit longer, but I know it's going to be exactly the way I want to do it and to your standards when it's done.
Yeah.
Because we all do things different, but we come to the same end. Everybody has, we were talking this morning, doing it. I'm a very particular person, I am about my stuff. Don't touch my stuff.
Yeah.
Stay out of my work area.
Yeah.
But that's how I operate. It works for me. I would also work great with anybody that's nice,
Yeah.
not a jerk, but
Yeah.
which everybody here.
And somebody that wants to work.
Oh, they have to work all day. Yeah. Or they get out of
And
my
if you don't
house.
work, if you don't move your body and work here, you're gone.
Yeah.
Brett will kick you
Get
out that
out,
door.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably partially why I don't have a permanent
Yeah.
helper too. Is you
Just
better-
your
you-
standard
you
and your
better work.
speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard as me, as fast as me, or harder and faster, or
Got it.
get out.
You got it. Good. Well, show us this house you're doing.
Okay. Don't mind the mess.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the mess, all right?
This is really clean.
Yeah.
This is extremely clean.
He's
Look,
the
I just see
messiest guy
bags.
here, all right? He's a mess. But the reason he is like me when I was doing it. You're so involved in working, you don't want to clean up.
No.
You just
Don't have
want to
time.
work,
Yeah.
and then you go home because you're just dead at the end of the day.
I'll stand on a pile of scrap and cut the next piece. And then
Exactly.
run off and
Instead of bending over it because he just wants to
Or I'll
keep working.
kick it under the saw.
So,
Pretty clean, right? I cleaned up just for you.
thank you
today.
very much. Makes us look good. All right.
This one's a 10 by 22, and it's a Freedom style, and it has 2 dormers, but it's a little different than most. When there's 2 dormers, there'll be one on one, they'll be on the same end to make one larger living space.
Right.
This one has 2 dormers on the front
On
of
the
the house.
same side,
So
yeah.
it looks really cool on the outside. I'm really happy with the way it turned out, which they added that dormer later. The roof was already on and everything.
Yeah, so like he already had the roof on, and then the customer said, hey, I want to add a dormer. So that's more money because he had to cut into the roof and he had a dormer. So hey, that's just something we don't want to ever take from any of you guys. So if it's more labor, we pay for it. Show us, okay, this has got an outdoor shower in the maintenance-free siding.
And everything pushed up against it for some reason.
Yeah. All right. Let me explain. We came up with this outdoor shower because of freezing. All right. It's going over here in North Georgia, but it does get cold. So you can't just put a water head out here because it'll freeze in the middle of the winter. So, all right, just that box and that style. I didn't tell Brett how to build that. I didn't tell him to put that across that. It's not in the blueprints. That's a personality that he put on that. So, right, Brett?
Yeah.
Yep. And
It looked boring with just a little door, so I gave it a little pizzazz.
you got it. Yep.
Yeah, and it's just a little hinged door.
Can you video that?
So it's not finished. It'll have the PSPI shroud, so it'll look like the back here. That'll all be covered. But this box, so this is made out of 1x, the box, and on top of that is 1-inch foam insulation, so it doesn't freeze and cold air doesn't get into the building.
Right.
And then on another layer of 1x inside, which I'll show you there. So
Yeah.
the other side of this valve, there's a little access door, because we have to be able to access the
Right.
shower valves in case
Right.
there's a problem down the road.
And that keeps heat on all the plumbing so it doesn't freeze.
It won't freeze, right?
You got it.
And then there will also be some 1-inch piece of foam
Foam on
here,
the door.
too. And
So-
then weather stripping to seal it so water can't get in. It's a little awning.
That's a lot for an outside shower.
It's
a lot of work in
half
that.
a day at least.
Yeah,
to-
just
to-
for that, and that's why we have to charge for it. Now, in there, you can't take a shower inside that box. So
No,
what
so
happens?
it's going to have there'll be a little hook in there to hold a shower head on a hose, and then we'll have a hook on the outside of the wall here.
Got it.
So you just control the valve and then take a shower when you're done. Curl it up, put it back, shut your door, all done.
So if there's water in that line, it won't freeze because of all that we've done to protect it.
All the insulation.
You got all the insulation. Cool. Maintenance-free siding?
Maintenance-free siding, yep.
How do you like
Super
working with
easy.
that?
It's my favorite. So this is the only manufactured thing, I think, besides the metal that we actually
Yeah.
use. This stuff is always straight, always the same width, because made by machines.
Yep.
Made by robots.
So it actually
goes on so well.
Goes
Yeah.
good.
And it's durable. You can hit it with a hammer. Nothing. The smooth side.
What do you have to do? Yeah. What do you have to do to prep your house to make sure it's straight, or anything you got to do, or anything? Because I know it's kind of thin. And
As far as the siding goes?
yeah.
So the way I do it every time is I'll go measure all four corners of the trailer. Figure, sometimes they're metal trailers. Sometimes you want to be find the lowest point. I'll drop down about a ½ inch and I'll go off of that all the way around.
Got it.
So that everything lines up.
Okay.
And then I actually did all this siding myself, even the 16-foot boards. I went and bought little clips that helped me do it. So all I
Yeah.
got to do is pop it on there, make sure it's level, nail the top, pull them out, do the next row.
And you put adhesive under each one,
In
right?
between each one, yeah.
Yep.
So behind every seam, of course, there's flashing. That'll go up above and then come down just about to the bottom. there.
Right.
So if water ever were to get behind there, it's going
Goes
to come
out.
back out.
And then you use finish nails to
I
put
use
that on,
finished
right?
nails, yeah. So these
Good.
are all 2.5 inch finished nails, because this is ½ inch and it goes through the other ½ inch, and then ½ inch of plywood. I'll make sure it
Plywood.
gets all the way through.
That's right, into the stud.
I'm sorry, these are 2-inch nails I use.
Right.
Not 2.5.
Cool. And then all your trim. So when you're doing siding, you trim all your windows, all your openings,
All
and then
that's
you
done
put the siding.
first.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's with lap siding. Corners, trim, fascia, everything has to be done first, and then you butt to it. The board and batten style, it's smooth, so you just do your trim after. So it's
How long did it take you to do one side of this house by yourself? You do some,
with the corners?
with
and
just the
trim?
siding?
The siding, it took,
Yeah.
I want to say about 3 hours maybe?
3 hours.
And with this, you have to paint every cut with this stuff to keep it under warranty. You have to paint.
Yeah.
So you have to cut it, get your paint, get it all over you, put
Yeah.
your board up, go
Put
get
it
another
up.
one, cut it. If you're going around a window or something, you mess up a cut, you've already painted it, you gotta start all over. Not only do you have to cut the board again, you gotta paint everything.
Paint it again. Ace. Ace, quit. Good. Let's go inside, because the interior of this home is unique in what we were talking about, and putting your personality into this. All right. So this owner kind of wanted a barnwood looking inside, and it could have been done any way. Now on the blueprints, it didn't show anything on the blueprints and how this has to be done. So
No, it just said barnwood accents, and whenever I hear that, I usually go crazy with it and have fun.
Yeah.
And try to do unique things, or things that similar to what
Come
I've
on
done
in, Nate.
before, but unique to each home.
yeah, just show the rails, and we
Yeah,
can keep
so
talking.
they asked for railings on their lofts. So I wound up making 3 different types. One big old school beefy one, a sort of fancier one for the secondary loft there. And then there's also another handrail on the staircase in the back.
Then all the trim.
All
and
the
then-
trim.
And look at this big gnarly beam. All right. So we may send you a big gnarly beam like that, and you're going to have to say, we'll use it somewhere, somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Now, talk to us about the barnwood and how you've evolved into being efficient with it.
Oh, I hated it at first. I hated it. It's messy. It's a pain in the butt. It's never straight. And then I figured out one day that that's what makes it great. It makes it unique, and every board is different. And it's all real barnwood. This is all. We don't treat any of this stuff. It's all from barns. People come bring us a whole barn. We get a whole pile of it out there.
Yep.
So it can be tough too, because you got to, find the right boards. You have to sand every single board, and that's a huge mess, of course, and chews up a lot of sandpaper. Some more time than just doing like white pine trim, like this stuff here, which goes relatively easy and doesn't take as much time, but also doesn't have as much character. And some people prefer the clean look, but
Right.
But yeah, the barnwood. I always dreaded it, and then after using it on a few houses, I learned to love it, and now I like using it all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, like this barn wall.
Like the wall.
Look,
Yeah.
look at this is the wall he did. It's all been sanded. but not like gobs of
Just
sanding,
cleaned
but
up.
just cleaned
You
up.
want to be able to see the color and the old saw marks and.
Now, was this shelf, was it told to you by the homeowner to put this shelf in?
No. So all it said was open shelving in the kitchen.
Okay. And so you just said, hey, I think this would be cool looking. And now this customer you've talked to, and we know she's kind of like, they bought 8 from us.
This is the 8th one.
Yeah.
And I think I built 2 of them already. I know for sure one. Maybe I helped finish up another one.
So we know their personality.
Yeah, we know them very well, and they know us well. And they just sort of say, here's an idea, do it. And then, as far as I know, they've loved all the houses.
Yeah. Hey, Nate, show this staircase that goes up.
Yeah.
Because this is a back staircase, which is, we haven't done that many with the staircase behind the actual kitchen or in the back.
I like it because it's out of the way.
Yeah.
It's not, and these are, I believe they're like weekend rentals or weekly rentals.
Right.
So they don't need, a big staircase with all kinds of storage under it.
Right.
So,
Yep. Yeah, because actually behind that staircase, like you and I are pointing out, there's empty
It's
space.
planned empty space.
But they don't need the storage.
No.
This is built for a different reason.
Right, right. If they ever wanted, they could easily cut an access panel on either or both walls. And I took pictures and measurements to show the homeowner that.
Oh, from the outside.
Yeah,
You were
well, I
talking
took
about.
pictures of the studs to show there's no wires, show where the studs are, and I wrote down measurements
Good.
if they do want to go ahead and add.
So think about that.
door.
He didn't have to do that, but he went out of his way to do that for the homeowner. And now when they have this home, if they ever want to access underneath them stairs, that's the thought. That's what I mean about somebody caring about what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Okay, inside, cabinets. That's the question people are probably going to want to know. How do we do our cabinets? What are we going to do? Well, we're going to ship cabinets to you guys. So when we do a design, Kimberly or Marianne are going to design these things for you, and maybe Cassandra will be doing some designing. We'll build the cabinets, ship them to you. You just install them. What's your deal about these cabinets? Have they been?
I haven't had any problems with them. And they're built about 20 feet away from where I work, so it's not even hard to carry them.
Yeah.
But they usually will go right in. If your walls are straight and plumb and level, the cabinets are going to be square every time. You shouldn't have an issue. Once in a while, they have V-groove that's maybe not, popped off the wall a little bit, but nothing a couple screws can't help. This one went straight in. I put a level on it, and it was perfect. Didn't even have to shim it.
We got an awesome cabinet maker. His name's Rob. We all love Rob. He does an amazing job for us, and we want to ship those cabinets all over the country. So as you can see, we use the countertops. Okay, and the countertops, does it come like this?
Rob does all that bullnosing, and he sands them down.
All right. What about the stovetop, putting that in?
That depends on the layout. So we will do that ourselves, and none of this is going to be pre-cut, because in your framing, if your window's off a little bit, that sink's not going to be centered. So the cabinets the countertop especially is one of the last things that I'll do. When my window's already in, it's already trimmed, I'll take my measurements, figure out exactly where it needs to be.
Yeah.
And then trace it, cut my hole.
I got you.
And then, you don't know exactly where you're going to put your vent till you know exactly where that's going to be in each individual. I mean,
It could be off
obviously
just
it's
a
gonna
little
be-
bit,
right?
right.
If it's off a little bit, more than like an eighth or a quarter, you're gonna see it. It's gonna be bad. And then that's a lot of work to fix it. And mistakes happen. I mean, I make mistakes every day.
Sure. Yeah.
Some guys here say they don't.
Oh, I know
every
it.
day.
Well, take an example, that plug that,
So this plug should have been about 4 inches higher.
Yeah.
So what I had to do is just notch this out, which is fine because the microwave will sit here and block it. It won't be seen. If that wasn't the case, that wouldn't have been okay with me.
Right.
If that was an open shelf without something blocking it, we'd have to tear that wall up, move that plug.
And see, that would have been on him.
It's my responsibility to know where the plugs are. And any mistake I made, of course, it's my time, it's my money so I was trying not to make mistakes, but I do it all day. Little mistakes are fine.
Yeah.
Major ones, like having a window off by 6 inches,
gosh.
then your cabinets aren't going to work.
We've never had to do that before, have we?
No, never.
Never.
I personally have never.
So what we did is we came in here and talked about that plug, and him and I said, hey, we're going to go a certain distance off here. We got it on the blueprints. And that plug has to be, I think we come up with 70 inches, I think, off the floor.
Yeah.
So we know exactly that
This
microwave.
is 54
Yeah.
here because it's 36 to the top of your counter.
Yeah.
18 per code, 18 minimum.
Yeah.
and then this guy's 5, and then that
It's
guy.
about 11 and a half,
Yeah.
yep. And then your plug on top of that. Those are what we're doing on our blueprints and trying to detail these so you don't make these mistakes. But if you're measuring in here, that plug went in here when you couldn't see nothing. There's just 2x4s
Oh,
in
yeah,
here.
studs, yep.
So you got to lay all that out and then put that at 70 inches from the floor down so you don't have that notch out problem. That notch wasn't bad,
No,
but
it's fine.
But it
In
took
the end, it's
time,
fine.
and then you got to make it look good, and you got to
you gotta
sand it,
sand
and
it,
it's got to, yep. So those are the things that we're trying, that we've learned, that we want to pass that on to you for the 30 days you're here learning, and hopefully you'll understand and learn all that in the time. Anything else you need to, I don't know, the bathroom. Look at this bathroom
This
in
is
here.
a really large bathroom.
Yeah.
Bigger than most in most of the houses I've built
Oh,
for you.
yeah.
But again, it's like a vacation home, so you want space. And Rob, of course, built this vanity.
Did you cut the hole out for that?
He actually cut that one.
He cut it out?
So that one, it's just centered is where you want it. You
Yeah.
don't have to worry about a window or anything like a kitchen.
Now, see this arch right here? You guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay, that was not in a blueprint. Because Rob is such a perfectionist and a carpenter and a craftsman, he can't just do anything simple. He has to make it look.
The toe kick too.
Look at the toe kick down there.
You did that.
You see this right here? He didn't have to do that. But he did it because he loves what he does.
He does, and he loves putting his own little flair on stuff.
Yeah. See
Just
what I'm
like I
saying?
do.
That's what makes our homes, I think, different than anybody in the country. And the
Like
press.
this, for example, it doesn't need to be there. It just, I don't like seeing exposed plumbing, which you always have. It has a little cover that covers the actual fittings, but you still have a blue and a red PEX line coming down. You still have a plug. You still have gas line. I personally don't like it, so I just built that, which took time, not much. But
Yeah.
To me, it makes a big difference. You know why? That's when you walk in the bathroom. This is the first wall you see, and that's another thing that I always try to do is, where is the attention going to be focused? Always at a kitchen sink, across from where you're going to sit, across from where your bed's going to be, first thing in the front door, first thing in the bathroom door.
Yep.
So this wall, to me, in this bathroom, is the most important. Because that door may be open all the time. You know, look in here,
Yeah.
see plumbing, see a crooked window, see whatever that is on the window.
Yep,
That'll get
exactly.
cleaned off, of course. But,
Yep. Yep.
And then this one has a great big shower,
Look at that shower, man.
which I did not tile that. I always forget our subcontractor's name. Yeah, there's
Yep.
a
Will.
Will.
Yep.
He's from California too.
He is.
Petaluma.
Yep. Northern California.
Yeah, not far from, an hour from where I'm from.
Look at that. Is that not gorgeous shower, man? And then, all right, one thing that he's not telling you about, and we forgot still, I'm going to show you this closet, all right? So he made this door. There was not a design for the door, so he created this on his own. Now, inside, you could have used white wood. You could have used pine. And they show that right there, buddy. So inside a closet, nobody's ever going to see, he put barnwood shelving in it. An actual barnwood rack for the clothes that just looks cool, right? So now when this place is rented, a renter's going to go in there and saying, look at the detail in here. He didn't have to do that, but he did. And that's what I'm saying, yeah.
And that's where, so we were talking about the outdoor shower.
Oh yeah, there
So
you go,
that
that's
little
right.
panel,
That's the
so-
access.
Yeah, you open this guy up. In case there is ever a plumbing problem, you need access to the shower valve, and that's what this cover here is for too. And we always, so that is the plumbing parts I was saying you'll see on the bottom of that water heater that I don't like to see. And a vacation renter is certainly not gonna wanna see.
That's right. Yep. And then that other one he just said is an access panel to every shower valve. So we don't have to tear out all the tile or anything to fix a valve. If that valve goes bad, you take that panel off, replace the valve, and we're done. Yeah.
It's a
Believe
lot. And of course, shower valves are always on an inside wall, so they don't freeze,
and
and so you can get
access them.
It's
Right.
just a very, very spacious bathroom.
Yeah,
Because Brett,
it's-
you're a very tall guy, and take a look in here.
It's one of the biggest I've built here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's
still
big.
plenty of space in here. Height wise, everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 6'3"-ish.
Yeah. And a munchkin in here too.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Man, Brett, thank you, buddy.
For this one.
Oh yeah, I like these pegs here. Nathan, get these pegs. And Brett, what'd you do there, buddy?
We drilled a big hole and pounded dowels in the
Yeah.
hole. So of course we had temporary supports. 2x4s kicked under here.
Yep.
And it is toenail on the top to hold it perfectly in place.
Yep.
Which you can't see now. Of course, that's covered with the decking. And then a big Forstner bit and a lot of pounding.
Right.
That's why they're all beat up.
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna
it
leave
looks cool,
just
too.
like that. Not going to sand it.
Nope.
Nothing, yeah.
See, and that's the artistic part of it, that you left it beat up because this beam's beat up, and it just however you feel you want it to look.
And 2.5 years ago, when I started building for you, I would have probably sanded it, and ruined it,
Yep.
and probably sanded too much of the character off of the wood. And I just sand it to clean it up, make sure every edge, no one's gonna get a splinter. Everywhere people are gonna touch,
Yeah.
I push my fingers across real
Exactly.
hard and make sure it's gonna be.
That's
or not
what-
snag somebody's favorite sweater, or and
Exactly, yeah.
Then they're gonna get a bad review for their vacation rental.
Yeah. Now, see, when this is the barnwood, so there's more money. Let's talk partnership. There's going to be a barnwood trim package. So there's more labor involved in that. And that's what we're pricing out. So when you're going to use this barnwood and you're going to use the care, the dowels and stuff like that, there's going to be money in that for you. As we go, we'll adjust it. We'll see what we're doing. We're shooting from the hip of, because we've just always done this. So now we're going to start paying him to do those things. So, but it's hard to, and that's what I meant about not being a cookie cutter. There's things in here he just did on his own that may have been not above or beyond the money end of it. It was just because he wants to do it. But we want you to be compensated for it. All right? So as we progress in this partnership program, that's what our meetings will be about, is saying, hey guys, it's taking me an extra 3.5 hours to put barnwood in or something else. And we'll try to adjust all that as we go. There's another thing I was thinking about money-wise. All right, so start to finish, how many days, what's the cost on this thing, what are you putting in your pocket, what are you going to walk away from, and what's going on?
This one is going to be about 7 weeks total for me.
Okay.
And as far as the labor cost, I believe it wound up with the added dormer. I think it was 11.5, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Okay.
I'd have to look at the.
We got-
because
yeah.
it got adjusted a couple times along the way for adding things and whatnot.
Yeah.
I believe it was that though.
Yeah, I thought we were up around 13, but we'll check.
Okay,
and
yeah,
see.
we're
up 13.
We're
Yeah,
around
right.
13.
But I don't know if we paid for the, and that's why we're saying we're running this through. So you're looking at,
This is sort of one of the first ones.
Yeah.
Doing
yeah.
it like this.
So you're looking at what? I can't even got a calculator, 15,000, I mean 1,500 a week, something
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
at least.
Yeah.
No, it's
It was up to 18, I know, in 6
18
weeks.
At 6 weeks, I think it was 16 something.
1,600,
Yeah.
and that's double what you were making before.
Yeah.
Double. So I think we can live off that.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
And that's just being a carpenter coming here. You're not working 16-hour days.
No, I usually, I have been coming in 6 or 7 because it's so hot and humid in the afternoon here.
Right.
And I hate it.
He just, gosh.
I hate it.
Yeah,
stand
he
it. I
can't
got fans
take
there. I
the,
got fans everywhere, and I just bought a 3-foot fan out there. And
he can't take the heat here. But if you're not working 12, 16-hour days, you're working 50 hours a week,
max.
max. Pretty good, huh?
Yeah, it's good. It's good pay. Yeah, but I mean, you got to be able to work all day, every day, and well, I mean, you take days off, whenever you want. But like you were saying a few minutes ago, I don't work any less or any harder or any different even than I was before.
Right.
When I was working, solely for you on your payroll, I still tried my hardest not to make mistakes and would go fix them. And
Sure did.
plus, you don't want anyone
Yeah.
to come find your mistakes, so you fix it as
Yeah.
fast as humanly
And
possible.
you helped us build this company. You helped us put a product out there that we were proud of, and I can't thank him enough. It's just awesome to think you got guys that want to come here and want to see you succeed, just out of being a good person. So I think that's why now I'm glad he's being rewarded for what he's doing, and I'm hoping we can continue doing that in the future and with you guys too. So good.
I'm already excited about the next one.
Good. Yeah, and now you'll get your blueprints. You'll look at them, study them up, get familiar with the house before you get it.
I always, usually about this time, when I'm within a week of the end, I'll usually take the blueprints home and start looking at them, make sure everything lines up, make sure the window and door schedule are right, make sure I know the siding, make sure I know, basically what I'm getting in for. A really good idea of where my plumbing layout is going to be, which I think the new prints show plumbing layout. But I would double check that too. Knowing spacing, and I make notes all over the thing.
Got it.
So
Yeah.
stuff for me to remember and questions for the office staff or a question for the homeowner or material lists and things like that. And I've just always done that anyway, because I don't, not only do I don't want to be surprised by anything, but I want to be fully prepared.
Right.
I don't want to come in to work and so what am I doing today? Even though I always keep a running punch list.
Right.
But that's more of a mental thing, because I like crossing things off the list.
Exactly.
That's more
Yep.
for me
Staying-
than anyone
yep.
else. But I like knowing what I'm getting
Good.
myself into.
And that's what you need to do as a partnership.
And seeing problems or seeing potential problems.
Mm-hmm.
And again, you gave me prints 2 years ago. I would have just kept going and be like, wait a minute, that wall's supposed to be over here, or not that bad, but or
Right.
how's that door going to work now? But now I study them and study them.
And you know how it flows. You know what's going to be happening. That closet's got to have some trim on it. It's got to be set back at 2-3 inches, switches,
And
everything.
that just comes with time with doing it, especially
Yeah.
trim work. It can be tricky, especially with the dormers. They take some time to trim. So you can't just be thinking you're going to just slap the trim up, because
And that's the big thing about a dormer
ladder and
is the trim.
yeah,
That's the
all
time.
lofts, yeah. I actually bought a tiny radial arm saw, and so I just rip all my trim.
Yeah.
I climb up there with my sander, and I don't come down until it's done now. So
Got it.
I'll just spend 2-3 hours in a loft and trim it and sand it and nail it up, and then come down and go up to the other one.
So you think if you got that loft there, you got to trim it and V-groove it and put a window, and then you got to side it. So time frame, maybe ballpark, what you'll have in just a dormer part. Because you got to remember, if it wasn't a dormer, you'd have another roof line that come down.
Right.
You'd have to
so
do anyway.
it was of course the same pitch.
Yeah.
Coming down that way.
Yeah.
And I always tell everybody my favorite thing is doing a remodel on new construction.
So-
But I'm actually really happy with this one, because from the outside I think it looks really cool.
Yeah.
It's really neat. This one has a lot of character. Even if it was just clean trim,
Yeah.
new wood, it
Yep.
still would. Just the building itself. Stairs in the back, 2 dormers on the same side, door in the middle of them.
Right. So how much time do you think you got in that dormer? Because we're talking money
Inside
now.
and out,
Yep. On that one dormer.
with the metal and the exterior and interior and all that.
Mm-hmm. How many days?
Be hard to put I'd have to sit down
4?
and think about it. Yeah, that'd be a good guess. 4.5.
4.5. Okay. So what we're paying is $1,000 on a dormer. So what we're trying to do is say, hey, if he's averaging, $1,500 a week, and it took him almost a week to do that, that dormer's actually costing you more money than you would. So we got to come up with this kind of balance. But he's only averaging $1,500-1,600 because of maybe his efficiency and what you're doing. But he's a seasoned builder, so that's where we can say, hey, on a seasoned builder that knows what he's doing is taking this much time, then we can adjust our pricing and try to make sure it's beneficial for everybody.
Well, yeah, and things like dormers, and especially trimming them out, definitely take more time. Back to efficiency, just went and bought a bunch of tools to make mine that I didn't have to
So
make.
you may be faster.
Yeah, and then I'm not wiped out by climbing a ladder all day.
Yeah.
Up and down, up and down. But then, so where that may take me several days, I can V-groove this thing in a day. And I frame it in a day with the
Yeah.
rafters on, and depending on the size of the house, can even sheet it
Yeah.
all in one day. So time, I personally make up time other places, or I know certain things are going to take me longer. And
So some way you'll make a lot of money, some way it'll be a little bit slower back and forth. Do you like our trusses that we pre-build? Are they a time factor for you?
it's anything pre-built like that is nice,
Yeah.
because I'll set all my rafters in an hour. It
Yeah,
doesn't take
an
any
hour,
time.
you're all
You just
done.
you do your layout when it's on the ground. So I always just mark my top plates as I
Right.
go, and I always pull everything from the front. So I know I'm always going to, my centers,
Yep.
those 24-16 or whatever it is going to be dead on every time.
Every
so I've already
time.
got it marked. I don't have to get up there with a tape, go across, or try to measure the gaps, and that always gets them crooked. But
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, you just hang them over, set one up, screw it down.
They're super
next
light.
one, keep going around, and then go to the other side, square those up, screw them down, you're done.
Got it.
Yeah,
Good.
fast. A lot.
You see,
of
that's what we're doing as a company. We're trying to decide: do we want to continue building, our trusses and ship them out. We actually build dormer trusses now and ship them out. So now you just throw that wall up on the dormer, which is the same size every time, and you just throw your dormer trusses up, and you don't have to frame it. You don't need a ridge beam across there or anything, So that's kind of the trade-off. You're at $1,000 for labor on your dormer, but we're building all the components for you. And normally it wasn't involved in that. You could start from scratch. Like even the window.
The window framing. Yeah.
The window framing's awesome, right? You got the jack, the stud, the top and bottom sill is on. You just set it in place when you're framing. You don't have to bend over and build all these components. Your corners are already pre-built. Your windows are already pre-built. Your doors are already pre-built.
The framing is even faster, especially with 7-foot studs.
Yep.
You just build a wall.
And you can stand it up by yourself.
Yeah,
I've stood up a 20-foot long wall with no problem.
Yeah, I stood
by
this up
myself,
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I did this.
Yeah. So the thing is on the, we want you to be efficient and fast, because the faster you build, the more homes get out. Everybody helps out. The homeowners are happier. Everybody makes more money. It gets out. But it's not something that fast where it comes to trim, because we want you to get in the dry as quick as you can, because the trim's going to take you longer. So if we can get that going better, that's where everybody saves.
Yeah,
Are you
trim
about ready to go
always-
dead?
20%.
All right, 20%.
Oh, you got to plug. Oh, I see.
So what are we gonna do about that microphone when you unplug that? I'll have to probably won't have a microphone. Everybody let us know if you can still hear us when he's got our phone's about ready to go dead, but we're gonna plug in a power source so we can keep going. So we won't have this microphone, we'll have to just talk through the phone. So I apologize about that, but that's
You
the
just have
only,
to yell.
have to yell.
Just yell.
That's what we do all day anyway. This is the quietest I've ever talked here.
I know.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
I don't,
Okay.
yes, I'm just turning this off. All right. How's our audio? You guys, Nate might be able to hear that, and we'll try to get closer to the phone or not.
Good.
Good still?
Yep.
All right, cool. We're good. I don't need this.
Keep those guys from working out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which is the opposite of what we normally do.
it's hot in
It
here.
is hot in here. The insulation.
Yep.
I'll come in the morning, and it gets so hot in the afternoon. Like I said, it's terrible here. I'll come in the morning, and it'll be 70. Come in the house, it's still 80. Because the insulation is so good.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
stays in the
warm.
house.
Gosh.
Yeah.
And we try to get now a good little trick, and we haven't done it. It's because we're just going so fast. Is that see this mini split line set? As soon as he gets this wall done, you could hang the mini split.
I want to start doing that.
And he can start doing air conditioning in this. So if you're at home, you all can install your mini split immediately and plug it up, and you got air conditioning while you're trimming out your house, or heat in the winter. So that's exactly, heat's no big deal. You put a little space heater in here.
Oh, that's
you're
all
good.
it takes in the winter. Yeah, space
Yeah.
heater. Once it warms up, it stays warm.
It's done. But the air conditioning, if you're in a place you need that, you could hook your mini split up. Man, Brett, thank you, buddy. He came out here in his own accord today to help me out, and he's missing a day's work. Bring you guys the experience of working here, the partnerships, the money, what we're doing, and trying to give you a realistic view of building and what it takes. Okay, so you guys send your condolences to Brett. Thank you, buddy.
Well, I was told there'd be bottomless nachos.
We got to order some food. We got to order some. We should order some food. All right. Hey, let me ask. Is there any questions for Brett before we go to our next builder? So if you guys got any questions, ask him now. Go ahead and say, hey, Brett, what's going on? Nate, you're going to have to read these comments, all right? Are you getting comments that are coming?
Yeah, just a bunch of thanks for the good job
Can
on the
you
house so
remember
far.
any until somebody brings up a specific comment?
Just compliments on the overall job so far.
I certainly like those.
And just we got a request to look at the outside dormer in front of the house.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll do that. Yep.
And
Well, I think I can answer them later.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, Brett, you'll stick around just a little
Yeah,
bit?
yeah. I'll stick around.
Okay, he'll be around if you guys want to talk to Brett some more. Specific questions about anything, where he surfed, where he's from, and all that stuff. He's got a brother living in the Caribbean on a sailboat, which is cool. He's from Santa Cruz.
Luckily, that hurricane went up the Bahamas and not Eastern Caribbean,
wow.
which he was just there actually about 6 weeks ago. He had his boat out there, and now luckily, when things started opening back up, he was able to go back to the Eastern Caribbean.
Oh, that's right. He's
And
been
he
quarantined.
dodged that one. Yeah, they wouldn't even let him off the boat to go to the store after a while in Bahamas. They were really scared down there.
Wow.
So there were a bunch of boats just moored out in this bay, stuck. All they could do is swim off their boat.
Wow. So he's catching fish and eating
Yeah,
what he had.
and full of tired fish.
Yeah, you're from Santa Cruz?
Santa Cruz, yeah.
Yep. So, nice. Brother, yeah.
Brett, we had a question on overall tools. Was there any excess charge that it costed you to get the house done?
As far, no, any tools I buy, it's just, those are my tools now.
Anything in excess you had to use for this house?
Just that little 7 1/4 inch sliding miter saw, it was a lifesaver. It saved me a day easy.
Wow.
Just not having to go up and down that ladder.
Mm-hmm.
And then, ripping and prepping everything.
So you got, and of course, because you've been here, we just given him the tools that he's been using. Those are his now. But
When I had a bunch,
And you
like
acquired
all the cordless
stuff.
and all that stuff. So every house or every job, I'll figure out another tool I need to make my life easier, and I'll go get it. Like those clips that I use
Yeah, the
to
siding.
hang the siding by myself. Otherwise, I would have had to pay a helper.
got it.
So I just wrote helper on
On the clip.
the clip.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, we got a couple people asking too. Brett, do you usually get a choice on what kind of house that you would prefer to build, or do you usually just get one assigned to you?
It varies somewhat. Sometimes I give you the more difficult ones structurally because I have more experience than some of the guys. Sometimes there's a choice, and sometimes there's, hey, that one's got to get out right away. So there's no clear-cut answer to that, but the easiest answer is, yeah, mostly I do. 'Cause,
Yeah.
maybe not a choice of the list, because if people have been on the list for longer, we got to get their houses out.
Yeah.
So maybe, which of these three would you like? I usually like to take the bigger ones because I like building bigger houses. Take a little longer, but
Well, and save that other question, but to answer that, what I want to do is I would like to say the partnerships are going to have to perform in a certain way that we know that they can do a certain level of quality, speed, and the different types of homes and customizations. So I really would like to put together some sort of bronze, silver, and gold kind of builder. And when you get to these certain levels of quality, we'll give you different types of homes and bigger homes.
And Randy, I know you mentioned it in the meeting before, but for the people watching, if builders or buyers, were wanting to request a certain builder, are they able to do so?
You know what? Well, my whole end, when we're all set up with this, what I would like to do is feature Brett, feature all 20, let's say we got 20 partners on our website, and it features all the homes he's built, right? And if you guys want to select your own builder, that's when we're going to start doing. And then he starts competing with Zach, and then they're competing with Nathan, and then you all are competing with me, and we're all in this. So that's why he said, you know what? I sand my barn wood, and I put window sills on, and you're going to want him to do it, right? So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we'll end up doing in eventually. Now, in geographical location, if you're in California and we have a builder and the only closest one is Wyoming, we would like to give you that one because it saves you, transportation costs instead of coming all the way from Tennessee. Nobody in the country's doing this, and I think if it can catch on, I think it's going to be, so much more effective for everybody. Anything else?
good.
We're good?
Yep.
All right, let's go outside.
Let's take a look at those dormers.
Yeah, show that outside dormer. Now those are egress windows we put in every dormer when we have a loft. 28 by 38, right?
the window?
Yeah, I think
They're 20, it's written on the wall there, 29 by 40.
Look, where you got it written out?
Hieroglyphs.
All right, look at his
Window.
notes here. Show your notes.
40 by 29.
So, we got little notes here they can do. We also have, here's his checklist, what he needs, what's going on, what's happening. We also have little cheat notes that we have for plumbing. If you got a wall-mounted sink, where the drain's coming out, where the water line's coming out, and you got heights in it. So when he's doing he does his own plumbing. He does all that. So that's why little cheat sheets that you don't forget. All right. Any questions? We're good.
Nope, we're good.
Are you okay?
Oh, yeah, I'm great.
You weathering all right?
She doesn't like the humidity.
I got my fan.
You guys come out
No,
west.
it's okay.
We're down in the south here, everybody. It's humid, not as humid as, as Georgia and Louisiana, but they're part of our clan here in the south. But we got Zach here, all right?
Zach.
Is from Michigan.
Yep.
I'm from Michigan. I was born there. I've been here since '87, probably before he was even born. And now he's here with his wife, and he's built his own tiny home and moved to Newport. Can you believe it? Newport, Tennessee, which is near North Carolina. And it's really an up-and-coming community here in Newport with the mountains and the beauty. And we'll let Pandy tell you more about what she thinks of this area. It's done. All right. But Zach, tell us a little bit about you, your tiny home. How'd you get into this, and what happened about coming here?
Yeah, well, for me, I come from a diverse background, being a dance teacher and a licensed massage therapist, having a business in Michigan.
Now, he's from Michigan, all right, everybody? I didn't hear nothing he just said.
So,
He was a dance.
I was a dance instructor.
wow.
Yeah, dance instructor. Then I became a licensed massage therapist. Did that for 4 years, had my own business. I actually did that right before I kind of uprooted and came down here. While having my own business, getting married, and decided to build my own tiny house all in the same year. Kind of spent some time building that tiny house on the weekend because didn't know where I was going to live. I didn't want to live in Michigan, but I didn't know where I was going to live. So I built a tiny house on wheels, and then we found a space down here after looking around for about a year, found some property, and then we're like, oh, this is so cool. Just looking around, found this incredible tiny homes, 20 minutes from where I live. No way. So I came and checked you guys out and found you on Facebook, and then watched some of that and visited, and like, oh, we're going to move down here in like 2 months. Do you by chance have an opening for a job? Because we were moving and I had nothing figured out for a job. So we were kind of just uprooting and going all the way. So find you guys who picked me up and said, hey, we'll get you started. Moved in, and then I think it moved down, and the next day I started. So
We couldn't wait for him to get here. I mean, as you can tell, he's a quality guy. We knew he was going to be great to have around the shop, so I couldn't wait for him to get here.
yeah, it was great. You guys made it easy to coming in, and that was last September. So we're looking at about 11 months now.
Okay.
Wow. So
Cool.
coming up on it.
Yep.
Learned everything from working. I started out with working with Steven and then working with Brett. Kind of learning all the ways guys did stuff. I did construction way before I was a massage therapist for about 3 years, roofing, just general framing, everything. Learned a lot about the trades, and then kind of went through all that transition back into construction again.
Now, with your experience from all that you'd had before you got here,
Yep.
how different was the framing and the trimming and the siding different from how we do things here in the shop?
Not incredibly. I mean, you're still just doing the same kind of building like a residential, just working with some different material. Working with the 2x3, getting the walls and how, what is your measurements off the floor, trying to figure out the ins and outs. That was kind of, so I just created a list. Every time someone tell me something about, this is where your faucet will stick out at. This is how far you want to get this off the floor. I just make a note of that, so next time I don't have to ask.
Yeah.
And I kind of have this running list, and it really helps just kind of walking through it. So.
Keeps you more efficient, and you know to think next time, check your list, do it, and
Right.
go until it becomes a second nature.
Right.
Now
And
you-
learn the system.
Now you built, he's at his home,
Yep.
and tell us about where you're building and what you got as a facility to build in.
Yeah, right now we just finished my first one that was fully at home from start to finish. Right in my front yard, kind of. I live on a slope. Had a little space to put the house. I set myself up a little canopy, put my table saw, built a little table for a chop saw. Had that brought down from Michigan, and then the house sits kind of out in the exterior, so it's a little rough, a little bit at times, because the house is not in the dry like it is here, so it's really convenient. But my tools and stuff are kind of covered, and then I just be able to work in and out as I needed. And then being able to work on my own schedule, I skip the heat of the day. So I work from like 7 a.m. to 1, take a break until about 4 or 5 o'clock, work till 8 p.m. So I skip that summer sun.
Oh, cool, man.
And so it was the flexibility I think I liked the most with the subcontracting, being able to work from home, set my own schedule, work my own way, and not have to worry about my tools moving if I leave them.
Right. Now, he made a beautiful shed at his house. He built it out of trees, right? So it looks like Grizzly Adams over there, right? Big gnarly trees and 45 degrees to hold the top ridge panes up and stuff like that. It looks really nice. He's got a nice shop out there, but that's just for his tools and all,
Yeah,
and how to work on stuff.
Yeah.
So you did your first home. How big was it, your first one?
The first one I did was, I started there was just an 8x16.
Okay.
I started there kind of figuring out, and then from there I've done an 8x20, and then I just finished an 8x22.
Nice.
So I'm about to start another 8x22.
Okay. Money, time frame, you happy, stuff? Kind of tell anybody
Yeah.
that's interested.
Yeah, well, I've been logging everything. I've been clocking in, clocking out, just if I was working here on the hour. So I was clocking my hours, and then what am I working on in those hours? So I kind of get an idea, how much is this going to cost? How much is this going to take time-wise? So I got kind of getting some rolling stuff with that. Working from home, I've managed to do 8x22. Took me a month to do it by myself. Wife kind of helped occasionally, do some cutting stuff for me. And that house came up to about 6,800. So looking at 6,800 in a month, doing it. So I did that calculation compared to just working hourly. I'm like, well, working hourly, I'm working half, I'm making not even half that.
Wow.
So compared to that doing it by the job, it just made a lot more sense. And for me, it was the convenience of just working at home, setting my own schedule. I fell in love with that when I had my own business. So when I came back down here, I started working by the hour, work for you guys. I think it was great working for you guys, but like working by the hour just wasn't for me.
No, it's not. Not when you're self-motivated, man.
And you offered this, you could just take one home, And I'm like, all right, pulled the trigger, and it was worth it.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's been a learning curve. I don't really have the space for all the material. So thankfully I live close enough. I'm like, oh, I need some more boards. I'd come back, pick some stuff up. So I'm trying to figure out the supply stuff.
Right.
And you guys got a lot of stuff. You're upgrading with all the inventory and all the people you got working on, just lining all that material right up, so I don't even have to think about it anymore.
Yeah,
Get to that
good.
point.
That's right. We're trying to help him out to be efficient. We want everybody to go fast and efficient.
Yep.
I went over to his house the other night. We're trying to look, help him understand maybe how he can put an outbuilding up, something temporary, something better. He's wanting to do more, but it takes, we figured out about 10 grand to get you a decent 40 by 60 building up. 40 by 60 would be great, because if he ever wanted to expand and do 2 or 3 at a time and hire a couple guys, that's kind of about the size home building you need, and stock all your materials in.
Yeah, I think with what I've learned so far, the biggest drawback right now that I've come across is just the supplies. Before I was like getting, all right, I'll get all the supplies exactly for this house. I was trying to calculate it out. Like, I need only 42 by boards or something. That was not the right way to go, because I always end up using more boards than needed, or one's warped or something.
Exactly.
So it's like, okay, I just need to get some bulk supplies and getting the space for that. So I
Yeah.
think getting an outbuilding, or at least a storage area for supplies.
And build up that little bit of that inventory.
Right.
Yeah.
And that'll right there save probably twice as much time as the last house
Yeah,
alone.
yeah. And I had one person tell me one time that said, hey, if you have, like this gentleman from Idaho, we ship a house out there and he steals it from us. He's gone. And I'm like, well, yeah, I guess he could run off with it, but he's losing out on the other 300,000 homes we'll be giving him, right? So the other thing is that this is why this is a relationship with you all as partners, is because if we ship out, let's say 3 or 4 bunks of 2x4s, even though we know it's going to take 102 2x4s to build each home, he could take those 2x4s and build an outbuilding. He could run off and sell them. He could do whatever he wants. And that's that dilemma of us, of knowing who we got as partners, right? And then keeping track of the materials. We know what it takes to build a house, so we're trying to keep track, but it still does come down to just being honest with each other and trusting each other.
Yeah.
It does.
That's actually one of the main reasons I liked to come here, is the way people worked, the way you did the videos. When I first came here, just visited, Green, not knowing anything about you guys. I was not really a Facebook follower before that time. We just kind of showed up and was like, this is really cool. And it was the personality, the trust, the willingness to work with me. I mean, I'm that same personality, so it really matched well with me.
Yeah.
So.
And so you can see Brett's, me, him, Tom, all of us got that. There's something about that trait that's why we like being here. It's comfortable. Brett will need something, we will drop what we're doing to help him, and vice versa. And we don't say, hey, you owe us money for that, or you owe us time. We just do it. And that's in the industry. That's what he will know. He's been in the industry for, all his life. He knows that's part of what we do. His wife knows that. She knows that he didn't get home, he had to work late, because that's part of this industry, what we do. So it's not built for everybody. But we're trying to bring in a systematic way of doing things, that it's not gonna have him come home at night traveling across the state line because he's building a house out of here and all that stuff. And that's what the beauty of this is, what we're thinking, is you being home with your wife, being home, being able to relax during the day, still get the house out, still make great money, but you're performing the work, you know? And I don't know, we're hoping this all will come about in a positive manner. All right, any challenges other than the materials, not having a building? Really, you're building pretty much the same way as you were here, aren't you?
Pretty much,
At home.
because I was working with just you guys, kind of had me just as a normal part of a crew, kind of working,
Yeah.
and then kind of developed me into just being in charge of my own builds. You kind of manipulated me to push me up a little bit to start building on my own. So I was building on my own here for a little while, kind of getting an idea what it feels like to kind of be in charge of the house, rather than just following someone else. Like I was working with Brett, just following him.
Yeah.
Put me in charge of the house here, and I took that same experience, and it's basically the same, really. And I was talking to my wife just the other day. It's like this is literally the same kind of setup, minus I get to set my own schedule.
Isn't that cool?
It really is. The work is still just the work, and it's just the discipline of doing it.
And where do you need help, physical help, when you're building a house? What's your,
Yeah, I'd say for me, primarily when I have my wife help me, is like on particular houses, like with the vinyl, the lap siding. So they're really long and they have to be run horizontally. So I can't hold 16 foot all out by myself. So either I have to tack a bunch of stuff back and forth, or I say, hey, hold the end of this board for me, and I tack it.
and Brett's got these things you need to get. Yeah. What do they call it, Brett? Brett will get them, so you don't, your wife can stay under the shade tree.
Actually, literally, I'm like, I really need you to just wait for me right there. I'm gonna work, and then every 5 to 10 minutes, come and help me for about 30 seconds.
Something good being at home with her.
Yeah, it's really good. She does a lot of stuff online, working, and just comes out and helps me when I need it. And I'll plan stuff. So if I need help, I'll plan to do it in the evening when she's off. So like I'm like, oh, I need to do this, but I'll wait on that because I can just go do some of this intricate stuff. So when she's done, come down and help me with something quick.
That's cool.
So
You can replace her with the.
Yep.
oh,
There's the anti-Gwen.
Chuck. This is your Chuck replacement. This is my Gwen
Have a
replacement.
Glen.
Gwen replacement.
Nice.
This is a script we're talking about, actually. It just hooks underneath. So you hook it on the last board, the
existing-
next board sits on it, and you could be 16 feet away, tacking it off.
And you can adjust the reveal on that?
On these ones you can now. It's just the standard 1.25 inch reveal.
Oh,
Which is
okay.
perfect for this, because then that gives you 6.5.
6.5.
Got it.
Which is about what we
It's right in between. Most people want 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Chuck does 6.5.
He's got his name on it.
Yes, Chuck.
Chuck.
The chunk of
The other one is Glenn.
Chuck and Glenn.
I'm looking at that, yeah.
Yep.
The other ones I had her help me with is like doing some of the interior trim and beat roof. I'll just kind of go through, measure out all my windows, make a cut list, and she'll just be cutting while I do more of the measuring.
There you go.
Because she doesn't know all the ins and outs, so if I just give her the cut stuff, and then by the time I'm done measuring stuff, I got another stack of wood. Boom.
And you just go and throw all your trim in on your windows.
Yeah, throw it all in. She's able to just come through, just cut, and like she helps me out for 2 hours one night. Next day I can fly twice as fast because she just helped pre-cut.
What's the heaviest thing you got to do that's physically something for you? Anything?
Probably, I mean, the sheeting is probably the hardest work.
That's what Brett.
Just putting the sheeting on the exterior. That's literally the hardest. That 4x8 sheet, a ½ inch. Throwing that up there
Other than that,
by myself is probably the hardest thing.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's weight-wise, not really.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, trusses. I'm setting trusses. Those are normally trusses in normal residential building are work.
Yeah.
With this thing, it's nothing. So, other than that, I'd say probably the sheeting is probably the hardest part. The rest it's just doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
and now, if you do come here, if you're by yourself, I've got a technique. You can sheet your house by yourself. Normally you get a hand because you got so many people, but I can show you how to sheet the whole house by yourself and not have the helper. You know, and that's what we want to show you and stuff. Well, thank you, man. He came here. He's been here since this morning. Him and his wife, and I can't thank you enough for showing everybody, telling everybody what you're doing.
Yeah, not a problem.
You guys can tell he's quality guys. Same with Brett. We're fortunate to have him here. If I didn't have these guys, we wouldn't be at the place we're at in this company. And I'm totally honest, and I think they know that too down deep. They know that they have helped us come to this level of quality and speed, personality, spirit, and everything to make this business what it is. It's just not a numbers game here. It's a people thing.
Right, it's not a matter. That's what's the beauty of it. It's not like a factory. It's not just do it. It's
Yeah.
how's that personality? People got personality. Not a problem.
Mr. Idaho. I'm gonna, okay, now this, he just got here, all right, him and his beautiful wife got here yesterday, right? And, I wanna, all right, so they just walked in the door. All right, so how have you found out about us? Why in the world are you here?
Well, I found out about you because she found you on Facebook,
Okay.
No, on YouTube.
YouTube,
Yeah.
I guess, yeah. And she would watch it, I guess, during the day while I'm working. And I'd come home every night and say, you gotta watch this, you gotta watch this. I go, no, I'll get to it. So, but I eventually began to watch. And it was very intriguing. It was very exciting. We spent more time laughing together than anything else.
Oh my God.
You know, as you describe what you do.
Yeah.
It's just very lighthearted. It's very, I mean, it's very obvious, even though you're under a heavy load, you're still very lighthearted toward people about this operation. It's very impressive because I know people, even in my job, it can be very stressful when you're managing people, when you're managing schedules, you're managing subs where I work as in my responsibility. It can be very unending in your nerves. I mean, when things don't go right, schedules don't come, people don't show up, all that plays in. You go home and you're a real idiot. You're just a hard person to live with.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I see this as being something that gives me the opportunity to, once again, like you say, set your own schedule. The only pressure I have is on me. I mean, so I can take myself out back and kick myself in the rear if I'm not working hard enough, but it's all me. It's all me. So I'm going to set the plan. I'm going to set the motion. And I also have 3 boys at home. I'd love to see them have a future. I've talked them out of construction all their life.
Yeah. Me as
But-
well.
But they were saying, come on.
But now they're all excited. Dad, go find out what's going on. Come back. Let's see if we can just make this all happen. You know?
What's changed from the construction world that you and I have been in for years and then wanting to be part of this? Why is
Well-
it more attractive?
Well, it's more attractive only because I see the future in tiny homes.
Okay.
I think the economy has swung. I think the way that the United States positions itself right now opens the door for people to downsize. They need to save money. There's a lot of uncertainties about the future, and I think these are ways to secure your future. Even for me as a contractor, in my trade, I wish I could tell you I was one of those that had $100,000 sitting in a savings account, so when I retire, I don't have to worry about nothing. Unlike my father, who received a huge pension working for the government, I don't have that pension. So if I stop working today, I'm in trouble.
You go hungry.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be down at the welfare line,
Me too, man.
getting unemployment and state help and like I say, navadays, who knows if Social Security is even going to be around?
Yeah.
I mean, I can retire in a year on Social Security, but can I live on that?
No.
I mean, I'm going to be getting what, $1,600 a month? How do you live on $1,600 a month?
Yeah.
Except for my tiny home, if I have to pay a space rental, well, it might be $350 a month, and all I have is utilities.
You can make it happen.
I can make it happen if I can just work long enough to pay off my truck and my car.
Yeah, right.
Get rid of that $1,200 a month payment.
Right.
No, but I see this as an actual way to enjoy life later. And so, I mean, I see this for me as almost a necessity. I mean, not so hard that it makes me feel bad, but this is my ticket to enjoy life.
Wow.
When I stop working. So this is all for me. Like I say, I built it. Well, I've told you, I built a tiny home, but it's not a tiny home. It's 12 by 43. It's a 2-story house on wheels, but it's like a modular house. So you don't tow with a pickup truck. But once again, that excited me because I could live in that. Once it's paid for, I don't have house payments. I don't have nothing, but if I buy property, I mean, I dig a well, all this is costing me nothing at that point. So it's a way for me to enjoy life after I quit working. So this is exciting to me. I'll probably have to work a little harder because I'm used to managing people more than doing the work now. But I do all the finished work on my jobs.
Yeah.
So I've been doing finished work for 15, 20 years. So all that's real familiar to me. But it's okay. I'm not afraid. If I was afraid of working hard, I wouldn't be in this trade.
Right.
So
Exactly.
and she can tell you, I'm one of those OCD guys. So if it ain't perfect, it comes out. I've had tile business with my partners. We've gone in, hired people, come back, I mean, I worked in Laguna Beach, California. We're talking $6-7 million homes. We did that because that's where the money was at.
Yeah.
But when you go in and you hire somebody, you take a risk. You go back in at the end of the day and check their work, and they built this shower like they would build a track house.
Yeah.
It cost $200,000. And so we would go in on our own time, fire the guys, and rip it all out and redo it again because it just wasn't right. Or a 45-degree angle on a corner tub. I don't know if people don't know what a 45-degree angle is. When the tile starts out 3 inches on one end, it gets to be 2 inches on the other. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
So that could have been fixed, but now you've got to rip it all off. Because that $5 million homeowner's going to look at that and go, that ain't acceptable.
That's when you call her and say, honey, I'm not going to be home in time, right?
Oh, no, and that happened many times.
Many times.
But like I say, so I've done a lot of things through my years, having businesses of my own, but I'm ready for a new adventure. This seems to be exciting, and once again, I agree with you. I ain't out there to work for free.
Yep.
So this is a way for me to make, good money, I think, and set up my future and also help set up my family, and my boys. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's exciting to me. I'm glad. I love to see I just love to see the caliber of work that you do because, like I say, I've been around this job long enough. I grew up framing from a contractor in Spokane, Washington, that if you had more than saw width between any joint on rough framing, I'm talking the walls, it had to come off and you had to cut it again. Wow. So everything in his life was perfect. So, and that flowed with my character, but at the same time, these guys will leave half-inch gaps and stuff. He goes, all that does is gives room for something to move.
Yeah.
So, and I understand rough framing, you can be a quarter-inch off and you probably live with it, but I like it. It's just as easy to measure it right as to measure it wrong.
Yeah.
And so that's the way I've always lived life. But it's exciting to look at the caliber of work and see joints that are tight and not something that, oh, that's okay, we'll just copy it.
You got it.
So that's okay, but like I say, that's
And there's
the
been a
way
few
I
boards
work.
torn down around here.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
a few
I'm sure.
that didn't fit right.
Sure.
And they did not go out here. That's right.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, but that's good. That's the way it should be. And the homeowners, I feel they can be rest and sleep at night knowing that their home can be built with good quality, awesome quality. So,
And and think about our prices, and you guys know that.
Right, awesome.
well,
awesome.
I know what I paid for my home, and I think I got a good deal. Only because I found somebody when I bought my tiny home. I admit I didn't frame it all, but I bought it already framed and the rough electric and plumbing was in. But he's a doctor. He paid cash for it, but he had to move to Florida to start his residence.
Yeah.
To move that tiny home from Idaho to Florida was more than it was worth. $15,000 to move that over there. So they just said, well, let's just sell it. So they just wondered what they had in it and got out of it. So,
Okay.
so
Oh, yeah, we get a deal.
and so we got a great deal. And so it's just that with my work load schedule, I've been working. I go out of state. I'm gone. I'm here. I'm there. We're running big. I work mainly commercial right now. When I come home, last thing I want to do is go out and start hammering nails on my tiny home.
Right.
So she's going, come on, let's go work. I'm going, nope, I'm sitting down. I'm not doing that. So it's been a slow process.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to being able to find time to put that thing together so I can live it.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'm ready. But no, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm anxious.
Are we still good? Yeah.
There you go.
All right, we're good.
And my wife is an amazing interior decorator. She
Yeah.
does, that's just her little knack.
Yeah.
So however that goes, like I say, helping to design and give me ideas even as we build these homes and put our individual touches in them. Who knows,
So you just
More
get
than
here.
lead.
You just get here yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Seeing what we do, how we do things.
Sure.
Just your. You've been intrigued enough to physically fly here from Idaho.
Yeah.
Which something that was that's kind of cool. I think that you guys would invest that much time and effort to come here. So you've seen something on our videos
Right.
that thinks, hey, you got to come here. And I'm glad you felt comfortable enough to come here and feel at home.
Well, I've been in this trade long enough to know that you talk to somebody on the phone and they can say whatever you need them to hear. But when you look at somebody in the eyes and you meet someone, what they say and what they are either comes together or wait a minute. He's pulling the wool over people's eyes. It ain't what he said.
Right.
You know. So I think just being real.
And you come back today, so you
Yeah.
put it up last night.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, we felt it was important just to come and literally physically be here.
Good.
Yeah, I had to take time off work and
I
spend
know.
some money.
Yeah, man.
So,
That's an
you
investment.
know, but I'm just saying, so if this happened where I said, nope, this ain't for me, the investment was still worth it. Because I feel that I needed to be here.
Yeah.
To see the product, to see what goes on,
Yeah.
to even determine in my mind, can I or
Yeah,
can I
right,
not
right.
do this?
You're right.
Or do I want to do this at all, you know?
Yep.
And I believe it's helped in the decision.
Good.
So,
Good. And you're,
Yeah.
I know people, you don't mind telling how old you are?
so I'm 64, I'll be 65 this year, so I'm at the age where I could retire.
Yeah.
But I've already told my wife, I'll probably retire the day I can't get out of bed.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Keep going.
And think about
He's
you got
still
the,
healthy.
yeah, you got the energy
Yeah,
to want it.
energy,
I mean, you're
yeah.
on to shift gears, man. Like,
Yeah,
you know what? This
yeah.
gets this thing cranking.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm, like I say, I'm blessed, I'm healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll expose, I'm going in for ACL surgery next week.
You
Well,
got a couple weeks.
But that's something they demand.
Yeah.
So once again, that doesn't limit me.
yeah,
You know,
right.
So,
We're gonna get all our partnerships
Yeah.
eating whole food, plant-based. Okay?
Yes, okay, here we go.
Everybody, that's right, because we want you to stay healthy.
that's right,
Uh,
okay.
Well, thank you. Now I want
Yes.
your perspective on it.
Oh, well, I started watching him 2 months ago, and I was just gonna go on to look at tiny homes, and I found Randy Jones and Amanda, and I just fell in love with them. I laugh, they bring me joy, and they encourage me. I've laughed, I've cried. I fell in love with you guys. I totally just fell in love with you guys. And I have just, that's all I watch. I put on YouTube, I'm like, when are they coming on? When are they coming on? But I just loved their spirit, all the guy, I could just tell that there's a love here. It's like a family. And I just told Dave, hey, we gotta do this. We gotta get in on this. Or maybe even move here. We don't know. We're open to whatever. But we would probably move here. I'm like, oh, I love the forest. I love the prairie. But you gotta come here because it's just amazing. All the people here, all the guys we've talked to, they're so polite. Even going out to dinner at the motel, everybody is so sweet here. You guys are just amazing. So I'm glad I'm here.
Aw,
We're
and you got
excited.
him here, right?
Yeah, I got him here.
Get your tail together.
And now my kids, and yeah, I'm telling everybody about you guys, and
So what's your kids, what's your family you're thinking about doing?
yeah, all my boys want to get involved in doing the partnership and being with us and all doing it as a family together, so we're excited.
Do you
Yeah, my
think-
youngest son is what, 23?
Yeah, 23.
My oldest son is
Yeah,
43.
we forget that. We have
Yeah,
4
we have a
children.
testimony, that's another day.
Yeah, we were married
It's
and
that
then,
far
no,
back.
we were married for 10 years, we got a divorce. We were divorced for
10
10
years.
years.
Oh.
And the
Got
Lord
remarried.
put us back together. And now we fell in love again and we run around and have fun.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so anyway, that's why we have the gap, so we have 2 older and then, yeah. So we have 3 boys and a daughter, we have 12 grandchildren, and they're all boys, except my daughter had all the girls, and my boys are like, we want a girl. So anyway, but they're just as excited as us, so we had to come. We had
To
to
find out.
And they all got jobs.
Oh,
like you
they
said.
all
Oh,
have
no,
really
they
good
have
jobs. And
They'll have
so,
jobs,
you know,
and
it's a
so
big
for all
thing
of
that-
us to make this decision, it's a big decision.
Yeah.
But like again, I'm not making this on my own. God plays a big part in my
Yeah,
life. So
we trust
he'll-
God and.
I'll know what's right.
Yeah.
You know, to answer that a little bit is what I had thought, because I know there's gonna be guys do the same thing,
Right,
right?
right.
Now, that's where I think this can be a great opportunity, part-time.
Right,
It can be,
right.
you can slowly get your
Yeah.
feet wet on this
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
sure.
Build one on the weekends, get all the
Right.
boys together,
Yeah.
and you do every weekend. It may
Right.
take you 6 weeks to build it,
Right.
instead of 2.
Right.
But you kind of get the feel of it, and we're
Yeah.
talking back and forth and saying, hey, man, we got,
Right.
we could speed this up, this is where we're selling, we can send this. And so if you're thinking about this, you don't have to go full-time.
Right.
You can actually have a full-time job. There's a lot, like, there's a lot of guys that are good carpenters,
Right.
that are school teachers, or factory workers.
Absolutely.
Or they
Even
just work on their
professionals.
homes,
Right.
whatever, yeah.
I've talked to attorneys and doctors, you probably have too, and they envy what we do. They would love to actually physically work.
Right.
So this can be an actual part-time.
Right.
Oh, no, it can
And
be,
move into
absolutely.
it,
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
there's just a lot of that working for yourself.
And what I like, and you got, and I said earlier before, there's customers watching this.
Right.
Right. And what I like about it is, a customer just heard you talk about the
Right.
quality that you want.
Yes.
Brett and
Right.
Zach and the people, and they know they can feel comfortable. The home is not being built physically here, but it's going to be built
Right.
just as good or better at your facility.
Right.
Absolutely.
And then with our technical IT, videos, the pictures, the communication will still go to them.
No,
We'll
absolutely.
be able to see every ounce
Yeah.
of the build.
Well, this is modern day. I work for a company where we use $150,000 software called Procore.
Wow.
But everything is documented. I mean, every day there's pictures, there's videos.
There you go.
The owners are seeing these. They got
Right.
questions,
You
we
got
get
it.
an email.
Yep.
Paper trails, everything's done on an email. There's change
Yep.
orders and REO, ROs and all kinds of, it's all done via, email and that way the owner is never caught off guard.
You got it.
You don't wait till the end of the project, and go, whoa, that's
What
not what
happened
I
there?
thought happened.
And that's what we
Every
want
day,
to
they
do. That's
want,
right.
if there's a problem, there's a question, we get a phone call.
There you go.
And then we get together, if we have to have a meeting, we'll get together and have a meeting. This is what the print said, you don't like it. Because there's a lot of owners that are visual people.
Yep.
Yes.
They can look at a print, sign that off, you build it, and they go, whoa, I don't like
That's
that.
happened a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Color, I think this should have been over here. It's like, well, here's the picture right here, and here's signed right under. So
You
now,
have to change a lot of
To
Yeah.
alleviate that, you
Yeah.
want to make them happy.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Just
Right.
keep them in the,
Sure.
in the loop, right?
Yes.
well, it gives them the opportunity to see every day, go online, look at the pictures of their home.
Yep.
If they see
Be a
it,
part
if they
of
like what they see, then nothing goes on. If they don't like it, they'll send you an email.
Exactly. And see, that's what we've got this software called Co-Construct. And
I've heard of it.
Co-Construct
Yeah.
is you can go on where you're at home, take the videos, the pictures, download it on that app that you'll have. They can go on there and
Sure.
see it constantly, every
Yeah.
single day.
Yeah, everyone's in the loop, anybody.
Everybody's in the loop, yeah. And
Goes on.
I think we'll actually be more efficient
Yes.
with
Yeah.
partnerships.
Right.
Because you're building one at a time.
Right.
Yeah.
One or
Right.
two.
Sure.
Yeah.
We're building 15 at a time.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Sure.
So to make all that happen, there's a lot of people who've got to take pictures. A lot of people's got to do this where you're
Right.
doing it yourself.
Right.
I think that, God, I
It's
was-
No, the software's amazing. It takes risk out of things. It does. For you as a contractor.
yeah.
Like for us on the job, I mean, every inspection, everything is on this Procore.
You got it.
So they know when we get inspected for this, we know if it failed, they know
Yeah.
what's going on, what we have to fix, there's just,
No more
it's
shady
all.
contractors.
No, that's right.
No,
That's
there's
right.
no more questions.
Got it.
So-
That alleviates lawsuits,
Exactly.
unhappy customers,
Yeah, yeah.
everything. Good, good.
Absolutely.
And you know what, the more we walk through all this today and doing this, this is the first time that I've ever had this much time in my mind to be able to actually be quiet in my head, talk it all out, and see how it's coming together. And I can feel that, I think it's really gonna be it has the
Yeah.
potential of really being a good thing.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
You know,
I agree.
Yeah.
And
I agree.
you guys, I can see that if this goes through, we're gonna have a relationship with each other.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, just like Brett and Zach.
Yeah.
And
Family.
we're building that, and
Yeah.
that's the real part of it.
Yeah.
Because we can help you. You're a whole lot more to me than money, because I'm broke down and I need something, and vice
Right.
versa. And
Right.
Brett,
Yeah.
we are so much stronger
Yes, as a
together
team.
Oh, no,
as a
absolutely.
family.
in a network,
Yeah.
And I can just feel all that,
Yeah.
and the more guys, and we're having
Oh,
video conferencing, there might be a guy in Wyoming or a guy in New York
Right.
or Florida, and they're gonna say, hey man, what'd you do with that shower? I've had a problem with this. Oh yeah, let me show you this tool I got. And Brett was saying about that hanger, and we're all helping each other
Helping each other.
constantly.
Yeah.
I don't know, I was telling Tom that too. Tom said, Randy, this is, because I brainstormed this thing, and he was like, I don't know. So, but he said yesterday, he goes, he said, I'm in. He said, I see the benefits of it. I can't wait to get it going. And he can almost monitor, both of us can monitor these jobs with the videos
Sure.
and talk to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. You gotta come here. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Are there any questions, everybody? If you have any questions, comments, we'd love to answer them for you.
Nothing much. Just say a lot of compliments on a lovely couple.
Oh, you guys are so sweet.
Good, good. I think we're pretty much a wrap. I don't even know what time it is. I don't know if it's 1 o'clock.
20.
12:20. Didn't know how long it would take. You know what? Let's do this. I want to show a few, all right, before we close out. So let's walk through some stages of homes in the construction end of it. I'll show you the
The
spray
white
foam.
one left.
The what?
The white one left.
Oh, they took it out, didn't they?
So
We had a
it's
big
going
house we're going to
there.
walk through.
That was beautiful.
That was a 9 by 32.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
So it's a 9 by 32 RGO times $39 a square foot, and it's just a straight shot. It's a good paying house, man. So we went through his. This is one in here. We'll walk through 3 or 4 homes, and I'll show you one of the floor system and one that the spray foam is in here. So, how big is this house? That was 10 by 20, isn't it, Brett?
This is
10 by 22. So this is an RJO. Our RJO floor plans is always a rear entrance. Yep, come on in here, Pam.
Yeah, 10
And then
by 20.
10 by 20. So bathroom on one side, kitchen on the other. And you can see he wanted some barn wood. Nathan, get this piece of lumber here. Look at this. And this is just old lumber that I bought from a guy who came in here and selling me barn wood. And what I'll do is in the partnerships, I'll just ship a bunch of this stuff to you guys and you just pilfer through it to add what you want in the house. Like this is a live edge windowsill. Okay? It's built a little different. It wasn't notched out around the side pieces. It was just put on here as a windowsill. It's fine. It looks fine. Yeah, and look at this window. This is like, I think 67, maybe, or 65, 8 foot wide. One window.
And the base of it.
Yeah, look at the live edge windowsill. And this is stuff that the partnerships, you kind of will put your own feeling and your own personality into these homes. And that, what we'll do is we'll build a photo library and feature you on our website. And then the homeowner can say, I want him to build my house, not him, you know. So it gets that really cool competition going. Ceiling fan up here, we got our sprinkler head system in that little hole up there. This is a loft with a window. You can see the barnwood beams around here. This homeowner actually lives here, and he's renting a tiny home while this is being built. He comes here every day and sees his house. And how can you hide anything when you got a homeowner living here?
He just added the live edge actually, I think yesterday.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, the day before, he was talking with Matt, the builder, and said, "What's the live edge in there?"
There you go. Yeah. Yep. And if we give you guys partnerships, we ship some live edge, we ship some barnwood. It's more than they need, but if you got a place to put it, then you can kind of get through the library of it and put it in your home, you know. Let's show another one here. Thank you, Pandy. You're like
Ooh, this-
filling in for Amanda
That's
right
right. And I want to meet you. I love you. Thank you.
Yeah. You good, buddy?
Yep.
All right. Let me show this one over here because it's got spray foam and some V-groove on the inside. And you'll see how the spray foam looks before we V-groove it. Okay? I call it V-groove, it's tongue groove. We've got this machine. You'll probably have to I'll just walk in here for a second. You can do it from right there.
Okay.
So what you got is you got your 2x4s, and this is what another part of what we have been doing as before the lumber ships out is we'll build this mechanism. We build the stud, the jack, the sill, the cripple, and the top plate. So when you lay out your wall, you just put it in, nail it in with your top and bottom plate. So you don't have to build this mechanism. We've got one here. We've got another one here. Stud, jack, top, bottom, sill, cripples, right? And that is just quicker, makes it efficient. Now I'm paying for that guy to do that. And it's not costing you anything, but the faster you are and the more precise you are, it helps everything flow better. Now you can see the ceiling. This builder actually wanted to put the ceiling up first, right? Then he'll butt his walls to it. Some do vice versa. The other thing is he will not put his floor in until he trims all this off of the scaffold. All right. Now Brett's just the opposite. Brett likes to put his floor in, put his little saw up there like you heard, and all his trim boards, and then he'll trim it on his knees. I'm probably more like this. than I am. But one thing we both do is your materials have to stay up here so you don't go up and down this and you're wore out in about 6 hours. I don't care who you are going to get tired going up and down the ladder. So you need to alleviate that and put all your wood and materials and everything up here. That's the part that you'll figure out in the partnership of what system. We'll tell you what to do and how to do it, but it's your responsibility to figure out a system. There's your plumbing, your panel box, your spray foam. All these boxes are thought ahead. This is the gauge for our plumbing. You can see it's got pressure on the lines. Keeps pressure on it because when you're putting siding, you're putting trim, you put a nail in that, we kind of know where it's going, so you're always kind of checking that pressure gauge. Over on this wall, if you can get that, Nathan, here is your water heater. We've got the gas line that goes down and out. You got your hot and cold, and this is your plug for your tankless water heater. And then what they'll do is they'll bore the hole in here before they put the V-groove up. All right?
All right.
Good deal.
Awesome.
Go ahead, Randy.
We'll go look at a couple more here.
Yeah, we got a couple people wanting to see the different stages of the house.
Let's go.
Do you want to see the?
Yep. All right. That's one stage. That's what we're doing. You see the finish. This is kind of the interior wall covering, the insulation. I'll show you another one here. We've got. Did we bring that frame one in?
Mm-hmm. Right up back.
Okay.
It looks like they moved it.
We wanted to bring up half. It's got the walls up. We wanted to show some framing on here. Down here we've got a floor system that we just started. In some of our other videos that we have, you can see where we plumbed them, and this is Kevin. How are you, Kevin? Kevin's been here forever. He's another one of the gang, man. We can't do without him. These are finished. Just a few things we're finishing up on. All right, so here's the floor system. The floor system is built with 2x6s, right? And they're cantilevered 12 inches out. That's including your rim joists outside here. What you will give is a bare trailer. You put your floor system up, and then you'll plumb it, right? We're actually starting to put some wiring inside these things too, so all your wiring is hanging out because we like to put a lot more wiring in our floor because you don't hit it with a nail gun and it's just out of the way. But this is our 1x6. Now he's inside the drive, and that's what's really nice is you can insulate the floor, then put your 1x6 TNG. Now he can start framing. Now you've got these uprights right here, but he'll lay out his wall starting right here and go. This is 96 inches wide. Your framing is 86, so it's not going to hang over the other side. You can actually frame this, slide it a little bit back and forth, and you frame all your walls. Look, you're not bending over, framing like this, all right, like we've done all our life. This is a table, and it's so much better.
You want to turn your mic on, Randy? I think the phone should be. Yeah, I think we're having a little trouble kind of hearing you just a little bit.
Let's do it.
Okay.
All right. Now we're
All
back
right.
to the microphone.
All right.
All right.
Deal. I think that's good. Yep. So framing like this is nice because we're in the dry. You put your floor down, you put your wall right on here, you can go. If you're outside, you don't want to put this down. You won't insulate, you won't do anything. You'll actually put your framing right on top of the 2x6. You'll double the 2x6 here because your framing is going to go over this 2x6. There's nothing to nail your wood to, so you need a ledger there for your hardwood floors to be nailed to. That's the floor system. So you had the floor system, you couldn't see all the framing, but we showed you the framing, the spray foam insulation, and you've seen the V-groove going up. You've seen Brett's house that was completely done, right? And I think we'll go outside here. There's some really pretty homes out here. Pandy, what do you think about that greenhouse?
Oh, I think it's pretty. Yeah.
Isn't that different?
Yeah, and I like the windows. They're all so different.
Oh yeah, the
That's
bay
what's so
window.
amazing, yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Randy, do you have anything to add on Canadian partnerships?
I don't know. I don't know how. Yeah, love to.
It's been a question on here.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, we'll look into it for sure. I don't know any added expense that would be, but for sure, because I heard Canada is really kicking in with some tiny homes, you know. But we would just anybody interested in what we're doing, or if you know anybody, just send us an email at info@incredibletinyhomes.com, and we'll be glad to look into anything that you guys think of. Yep. Let me show you one here. We do container home,
Yeah, that's awesome.
and this is a whole different breed of home. This home is built because we don't have, it's not built inside, so the flooring is not in, and right here, Nate. So across the top, you got these braces that keeps the walls from spreading out. But what we do, we don't put them up until we crisscross diagonally. So crisscrossing diagonally keeps the house from racking. You can also see a 1x from that corner to this corner, and we did that before we sheeted, all right? So we'll do all this bracing before we sheet. Then when we put our sheeting on, now there's no need for the crisscross bracing, except for these up here that are parallel to each other. We put them on until we get our roof system and our lofts in. That keeps the walls from blowing out. All that stuff is what you'll learn here when you come to be a partnership. You'll have the skill level already when you come, because we're looking for people that have a skill level. These techniques, the plumbing, how we do our plumbing, the little quirks that we've learned because they're tiny homes, the space that you got to have, and how to read our blueprints, all that you'll learn in the 30 days you're here. We're hoping we can get that all done. It may be quicker than 30, but right now I think with everything that we need, 30 days is going to take. And you will build a home from the very bottom. You will build a home from the trailer up. And I thought about that is because that's how I learn. I have to have my hands in this stuff, see it, record it, and then it permeates my brain. I can't do it by somebody telling me. And I think everybody in this industry, that's just the way our brains work. It kind of like gravitates people like that here. And so if you're like that, you're coming here, we're gonna take it from the ground up. You're gonna know how to put a soffit on, a fascia, and the water heaters, and the sinks, and the escutcheons, and the plugs, and the GFIs. You'll know it all, you know? That's it, that's it. Wow, what a day, huh? If you all knew what has transpired in the last 24 hours, is it not been? They've gotten here just a couple days, well, yesterday, and I bet your head's spinning about what goes around here. We had a storm last night. It poured the rain, wind blowing everywhere. We had a big major water leak over here. The pipe busted this morning. Nobody had any water that's staying here temporarily on the slab. I was up this morning trying to get that going. The shop I just felt was dirty and nasty. We didn't have time. Everybody got houses leaving. They got haulers going. And in the middle of all that, trying to do this debut of this major system of our company taking another step. So think about it. There was the prep that I didn't have this big presentation in the prep. So everything you're hearing comes from right here. Comes from right here because we live, eat, and breathe it. I didn't have to school myself of what I'm going to say. I just say what I feel. And you know, I had a friend tell me, he said, you know what? It's not, Randy, they said they've seen Ace just poop right on the floor. Right? He's pooped right on the floor in front of you all. You've seen the dirt, you've seen the rain, you've seen the water, right? And I think, and I forget about that because I want everything to be so perfect, and it just can't. And it surprises me that people want to still be a part of what we do and who we are, and we're not, man. We are. I told them, man, we're a bunch of misfit toys, and this is where we've all congregated here, and it's just, and we're making it happen, you know. So thank you for tuning in. And I know there's going to be a lot more questions and a lot of things. I'll be sending out, there was some guys in California call me and said, hey, what's the price? You know, what are we going to make and how's it all going to work? And I'm going to put all that together in emails. So if you're sending us an email of who you are, what you want, we're going to try to put a package together and ship it to you, and so you can see the amount of money. I think today was just a introduction, seeing Brett here. We got Brett, we had Zach, and of course these folks from Idaho that came in, and you know, they're fresh right off the truck, man, and they're seeing everything and giving you their fresh opinion. So we're trying to be as real as we can. And in your perspective as a lady.
Yes. Oh, I love it. I just love everything about it. You got to come here because it's awesome. It's just awesome seeing all the different homes. They're all different, and they're amazing, and they just do a wonderful job. Even through the mess, they're great. You're perfect.
Oh, thank you.
It's awesome.
Thank you. Yep. So guys, if you're interested in making money, want to be part of this partnership, you get a hold of me through info@incredibletinyhomes.com. That's the best way, and I'll get that information, and then we'll send out more things. We're ready. We're ready. I've got 3 apartments in the back. We're ready to house some guys. If you want to come here and learn, actually Monday, we're beginning our first partnership. It's actually a family member. He's a cousin out of West Virginia. Awesome. He's bringing him and his 2 buddies. They're coming here, and they're getting ready to learn. That's what we're doing tomorrow, is I got to get that trailer ready and materials and everything ready, and it's nonstop. But I'm hoping once we get this rolling, I think it's really going to be an amazing thing for all of us, you know, you guys and the company, you know. So, Brett, thank you, buddy. All right, man. Everybody, thank you. Appreciate you tuning in. And, you know, y'all can still send out stuff, Alyssa and her mom and Amanda, kind of getting over the COVID and all that stuff. So thank you for your concerns and all that, all right? So, all right, we'll see you guys later. Have a great day.